the movie was originally titled by the director "You Better Watch Out," and
Hmm.
the studio and the distributors for the VHS changed it last minute to Christmas Evil, so it would appeal to a wider audience.
Right.
And the reason is because I would still call Christmas Evil. I would still call this a horror film, definitely. But the thing is, it's more of a kind of dark drama, psychological thriller about a guy that loves Christmas a little too much.
Okay. That sounds
So
good.
it's really good. Like honestly, they could show this on ABC Family if it wasn't for like maybe three scenes in the movie.
Interesting.
But this is one I try to watch every year because John Waters has actually said this is his favorite Christmas movie.
Oh, that's cool.
John Waters said that, and it's honestly like one of my favorite Christmas movies in general, not just favorite Christmas horror movies.
Nice.
So yeah, Christmas Evil, 1981. I would call it You Better Watch Out, but it's more well known as Christmas Evil. So
Right.
like even the director is referring to it as its retitled name.
Dang.
I don't think the director went on to do anything either, which is really sad because this movie's actually really good. And it was
Did it
owned by
ever?
it was owned by Troma at one point too.
Oh wow. Did it ever get a any sort of release like with the original title?
It actually did. It got released by Synapse, and they released it with the original title. Like they found the director's, they got the director's personal copy from him that still had the original title card,
Nice.
and they fully restored it for him and everything. And I think Vinegar Syndrome owns the rights to it now, and they have the Blu-ray out, which I want to get the Blu-ray. I already have the DVD, but I want to upgrade because this movie is really
Dang.
good. It's heartwarming for being a psychological horror thriller. So I think that's the proceedings out of the way. Old count of three.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, and 3. And Rocky just jumped off my bed.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my dog left my bed as well because my girlfriend's in the other room and she has food, so he has to be where that is.
I'm just get out of here, Rocky. Mm. This movie, I also think, is one of the. It also has the trope in it where there's always got to be a character in a Christmas horror film named Billy, and that's something I've noticed
Go on.
with this Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. Is that there's
Damn.
always a character named Billy.
The quintessential American name.
I mean, it is a very common name, but it's still a little weird that it's well, and two of them is the name of the like killer, but
Still,
still.
I wonder if Silent Night, Bloody Night has a Billy in it.
I don't know. I know Silent Night, Bloody Night. I haven't watched in a few years.
Yeah, it's been like a couple of years for me. I watched it like 2 Christmases ago. It's good. I remember that I like it.
No, I quite like that movie. It's got charm. There's already
Yeah.
like 2 sequels to it
Really?
that came out. Yeah, that came out. There was like it was Silent Night, Bloody Night, Homecoming, which came out like 2 years ago, and Silent Night, Bloody Night 2, which came out this year, I think.
I love when they do that.
Yeah, it's
Oh
the same.
shit.
And Silent Night, Bloody Night 2 is directed by the guy who's doing the sequel to Todd Jason Cook's Dummy.
Interesting. Shit.
That fucking acting. Well, you see what I mean? Billy.
Hmm. That kid's fucking eyebrows and face makes him look like the Jim Carrey Grinch.
I mean, that's a comparison I never noticed before, but
I actually enjoy that movie.
no, I mean, honestly, I think that that movie is like technically bad, but I still really
Yeah,
like it. I think it's
same,
creative as hell.
same.
And I mean, it's a Ron Howard film, and Ron Howard's a pretty good director, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Gotta love Willow.
Oh yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I don't think I've seen any other movies from him, and then you mentioned Willow. I like that movie.
Me too.
Look, my question is, if that's his dad, how the hell did he go up the chimney like that?
It's a Christmas miracle.
You know what's weird? What's really weird about us streaming today is that tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of our stream where we watched Maniac and Brazilian Football Passion.
Oh wow. Good old Brazilian football passion.
Yeah, that movie that I accidentally like skipped like 10 minutes ahead, and then I just kind of skipped to the end, and you sat there and actually watched it as I was just like, man, this is really bad.
Yeah, I stuck it through, unfortunately. It was not worth it.
Yeah, like if it wasn't for this beginning scene and like 2 scenes later in the movie, this could air on like ABC Family every year.
Yeah. Which, isn't it, like, not called ABC anymore?
Yeah, it's called Freeform, but I will always call it ABC Family because that's what it has always been.
Yeah.
They can go fuck themselves with their Pretty Little Liars reruns.
They're doing a sequel to that Tyra Banks movie, Life Size.
Oh my god.
Here's the thing. From what I'm getting so far, the sound design in this movie is really rough around the edges, but I really, really like it.
It is good. Apparently, we had people talking in the chat, and I completely did not look.
Did we really?
Yeah, I thought it was you. Like I thought because it says we have one viewer, which is me, because I like to keep an eye on the chat.
Right.
But before we had like 3 viewers, and I thought you were like in the chat, like dicking around, putting memes in the chat like you always do. But somebody's in here is like, oh no, he's dude's still here.
We usually don't ever really get anyone in the chat for real.
Yeah, Silent Night Deadly Night is one of my favorite slasher films. Definitely, it's very enjoyable, and it's understandable why it was controversial. I don't like the second one though. The only good one about the second one is the garbage day scene. It bothers me that there are 5 sequels to Silent Night Deadly Night.
Wow.
And one of them came out in 2010, and it was a TV movie.
I didn't know there were that many.
19 years after Silent Night Deadly Night 5. Which the 5th one had to do with like an evil toy maker making murderous toys.
Huh. Sounds like a Charles Band movie.
It really does, and it's weird because it's like the sequel to this. I mean, okay, Silent Night Deadly Night isn't like serious, but in tone it is serious. Like it's cheesy, but it has a serious tone. It's about a guy going on a killing spree.
Right.
I haven't seen any of the sequels, but I plan on seeing all of them. Because apparently, I think it was like Mickey Rooney who was in like the 5th one.
Wow, really?
Yeah, as like the evil toy maker. I heard that. I don't know if that's true or if I'm just pulling that out of my ass.
That's amazing, since fucking Mickey Rooney played Santa Claus in some of like the weird claymation Christmas specials.
I love those old claymation Christmas specials.
They're so charming.
My favorite one will always be Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Mickey
where you
Rooney
learn the
plays
origins.
Santa in that one.
I really like that one. Like,
me too.
I mean, I'm like in my 20s and I'm cynical, so I have to be like, man, I hate Christmas music and Christmas movies, but secretly I enjoy Christmas related stuff. Not music. I can't do the music though.
Yeah, the movies are the best part.
I mean, I watch, without fail, I watch that 24-hour Christmas Story marathon with my family every year on Christmas Eve, without fail.
Nice. That's a good one.
Bob Clark. Yeah, but this is the kind of semi-creepy shit about Harry as a character.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Swear. Yeah, this is yeah, Ross Garcia, this kid is like Dennis the Menace, like I wanted to get some snacks for the stream, and all I had was candy canes hanging on the tree.
Oh my God.
Which I guess is fitting.
Yeah.
I should have gone and got the Santa hat in my house.
Oh man, you should have.
It's too late now. But Andrew, I got to tell you about my movie idea I got because I was at work the other day, and they were playing Christmas music. They were playing Christmas music over the stereo, and "Baby It's Cold Outside" came on, and I just got a sudden, like, great but at the same time terrible fucking idea for a Christmas horror movie.
Oh yeah.
It's a rape and revenge film, but set around Christmas, and there's parts where dialogue is literally just lyrics from "Baby It's Cold Outside," and we call it "Baby It's Cold Outside."
Oh my God, dude, that's brilliant.
Like, it's like equally like brilliant and like just like not like terrible as in it's like an absolutely terrible idea, but like, I don't know. I guess insensitive might be the word, but either way, I thought of that and I'm like, holy shit, nobody's done that.
Like, and it's weird because it seems like it could be so easily done. Like, it just works so well.
I mean, yeah.
And you know, then we could bring people's attention to like how actually creepy that song is.
Yeah, the fucked up undertones of that song, like, really.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people to this day who are like, just like, don't even realize it, and
yeah,
it's part of like just kind of social ignorance, really. And I mean, when the song was written was the 1950s, so I'm not saying that makes it excusable because it doesn't, but it would make more sense why people would not, even if they know about it, wouldn't really say anything about it because it was written in the 50s.
Huh. Yeah, true.
You see what's going on with this guy? He's making sure the kids in his neighborhood are good. He's working at a toy factory. He has Santa Claus shit on his house even though it's not Thanksgiving yet.
Yeah, I like this premise a lot.
I remember when I first watched this a few years ago, and I knew nothing about it other than I had heard it was a slasher film, and I watched it, and I'm like, this isn't a slasher film. Like, where's the death? And then I keep watching, and then I finish it, and I'm like, okay, that was actually, like, legitimately a fantastic movie.
It's good to watch stuff that's good.
It's good to watch things that are different. Like, you know, this is also, like, one of my favorite Christmas horror movies because it stands out. I mean, your average Christmas horror movie is just some maniac dressed as Santa.
Yeah, which, you know, there are movies like that that are good.
A full puppet snuff film. Oh, hell yeah. I loved Snuff It. Snuff It was fucking awesome.
I still need to get that one.
I really like, I think it was Dennis Mills who made that. I like his movies. I'll never forget, I found out about him because I saw a DVD at FYE called Bath Salt Zombies, and as soon as I saw the cover and the title, I was like, I need that in my life.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen any of his movies.
I mean, Snuff It is a good place to start, honestly. I really like that one.
I really want to see it.
And Bath Salt Zombies is, I mean, it's really cheesy, and some people, I know there are a lot of people who have seen it and they're just like, they hate it, but I appreciate all the effort that went into making it, and I understand that doing practical effects is sometimes a little difficult because there are scenes where they use CG blood, but there's still some real good practical gore in the film.
Better than Zombies?
Oh, way better. There's a scene where a chick gets her face straight up ripped off, and it's pretty good.
So, legit, is Zombies like so bad that it's just not worth watching at all?
Zombies is, like I said in my video where I mentioned it was one of the worst zombie films ever. I meant it. It really is like insufferably awful. Like, if it would have been done on the right budget with like a cast of like cult film stars and like with practical effects or at least really good CG, it could have been fucking great. It could have been the next Evil Dead, honestly. Because the premise is like so ridiculous and stupid that honestly, if you were to make a version with practical gore and like starring Bruce Campbell, I'd be on board every day of the week.
Right. Oh my god. I love the cinematography.
It's good. I'm telling you, this movie is like it's legitimately a good film.
Yeah.
And that's another one of my problems with them retitling and rebranding this film. Because when Troma had the rights to it, it was like a cover with like Santa Claus on it holding an axe, and it was just like, that did not portray this film correctly, even in the slightest.
Yeah. But it sells better, I guess.
It does. They're actually doing screenings of holiday movies at the local art house theater we have in Columbus, the Gateway. And which is where I saw Pink Flamingos on 35 millimeter, which was great. But they're doing screenings of classic Christmas movies, and their setup this year is the Naughty and Nice list. And the Naughty list is just like modern kind of Christmas movies. It's got like Elf, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, A Christmas Story. Then on the nice list, it's A Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, the real old classic stuff. And then Gremlins is on like the naughty list. And then they have the holiday horror or the holiday nightmare lineup, which they're showing this, Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I think they're showing Christmas Evil. No, not Christmas Evil, but I think they're showing Silent Night, Bloody Night as well.
Damn. You're making me want to pack up and move.
Look, man, I really want to go see Black Christmas, because that's another one of my favorite slasher films and one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's a legitimately horrifying movie. Like, I think it's better than Halloween in every way. And that's blasphemy. I know, but I think it's creepier than Halloween.
It is really creepy.
And I wanted to go to a screening of it, and they're only showing it the 22nd through the 24th, and they're only showing it at like midnight and 1 a.m., which would be the time to see it, because that's like the middle of the fucking night. Theater's going to be practically empty. It's going to be like a really creepy experience at that time, but I can't get out there at midnight. Nobody will go.
That sucks.
Have we seen The Pit from 1981? I have not seen The Pit, but I know it's about a kid like feeding people who are mean to him to a monster in a pit in the woods.
Nice.
I've heard a lot about it. It's on my list.
So you don't have a bus that comes by your area?
Well, I live in a suburb, so
no.
So yeah, I don't really have public transport in my neck of the woods. Like, I think the nearest bus stop from my house is like a few miles, like 5 miles, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, if you live in if you live in the suburbs, you're fucked when it comes to public transport. If you live downtown, public transport's everywhere.
Yeah, my city is pretty, like, it's kind of dense, so the whole city has pretty decent public transportation, which is nice because I don't need a car to get anywhere. And you know, even if a bus did come by your place, I doubt it would be running at 1 a.m.
Yeah. Which there's actually during the day on the Short North, which is like the kind of hipster area of downtown, where all the independent restaurants and bars and shops are. Like, there's this really awesome, like, honestly, one of the best record stores I've ever been to, called Magnolian Thunder Pussy, that we have downtown in the Short North, and it is huge. And it's not just like a record store, like they have just CDs. They have actual records. They have horror t-shirts and like cult film shirts in the back. Nice. And they have a huge section for like metal vinyls. I went in there one time flipping through the metal, and they had like, and it wasn't just like, you know, your average like Iron Maiden and maybe some like new metal. But no, they had like King Diamond. They had Death. They even had Cattle Decapitation on vinyl.
I didn't know they released anything on vinyl.
Yeah, which is, you know, I'm not into Cattle Decapitation, but it's I would argue that they're decently obscure.
Yeah.
So it's like the best record store I've ever been to. And their prices aren't bad either.
Really? Because I know a lot of places way overcharge on their vinyl.
Yeah, like, as I was looking through, I mainly look through the metal stuff because, I don't know, I'm just not too big on other genres. Like, I like stuff from other genres, but I couldn't see myself buying a jazz record, honestly.
That's actually some of the... Jazz is mostly what I collect on vinyl, funnily enough.
But, like, when I was flipping through one time, I saw they had, like, 3 different King Diamond albums, which, you know, just to have one of them would be cool enough, but they had, like, I think they had the I, Abigail, and, like, Them, and they were, like, $20.
Not a bad price.
Which is pretty good for vinyl. Like, that's really good for vinyl, honestly.
Yeah, like if they're in good condition, that's a really good price.
Yeah, there's some like, and the thing is, it's a mix of used and new stuff too. So, I think those King Diamond records were new too, like newly pressed.
New for 20 is a good price.
Honestly, I'd rather have new records anyway, just because if they've been used, they might have scratches on them, honestly.
Yeah, and used records, depending on how well they were treated, they can mess up the needles on your record player if they weren't treated that well.
Yeah, and the needle can, and if you have a certain kind of needle, it can ruin the records too. So it's like a back and forth kind of relationship with that.
Yeah. The worst is if you go to fucking FYE, their new records are like $40. It's so stupid.
Like, I went in there one time and I saw they had the soundtrack to Scream on vinyl. And I was like, that's kind of a weird, like, just kind of thing that they would have. Because I don't remember the music in Scream being very memorable, honestly. But I guess that doesn't matter in the long run. And it was like $40. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like, especially since, like you said, Scream is a great movie. I think there are a lot of things that really stand out about it. The music is not one of them on its own,
This is such a creepy scene, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's literally just him, like, designing a Santa suit.
But it's done so well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, this movie is, like, it's equally heartwarming and creepy, and it's equal parts just everything perfect, honestly.
I love it because, like, it's mirroring a lot of the sort of the horror conventions and tropes of, like, the person who's building a bodysuit. Like, clearly this is more than just a Santa Claus suit for this person,
Oh, definitely. Like, he wants to be Santa more than anything.
Yeah. It's like putting on a dead flesh suit or something. It's pretty sinister.
Imagine if Ed Gein would have just made Santa suits instead of skin suits.
He probably would have been a lot happier. Okay, I know you hate Christmas music, but you got to at least like the Grinch song, right?
That's one of the only ones that I can stand.
Because it's so fun. It's so good. And it's musically good, too.
And honestly, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the actual animated like TV short, no matter how old and cynical I get, I think I will always enjoy that one because it has Boris Karloff in it, which I did not know it was Boris Karloff until I was in high school. And I'm like, you're telling me fucking Frankenstein's monster is the Grinch?
It's perfect.
Look at this shit.
Huh.
It's a little creepy, but
yeah.
But he has good intentions. Like, he's not a bad person.
Yeah, you definitely get the feeling he's not quite all there. He's not like malevolent in any way.
That music cue with Ross Garcia is so good.
Yeah. This shit is great.
Honestly, I adore this film.
What year did this come out?
1980. So it predates like a lot of the famous Santa slasher films.
Yeah, and I was going to say it actually has a lot of the really great kind of 70s kind of feel and atmosphere that I like in a lot of these kinds of movies.
I'm pretty sure this was shot in like the late 70s. And
Yeah, that makes sense. At first I thought it was like later in the 80s, which would have been weird to me because it feels like a 70s film for sure.
see, I watched this is Last Christmas by Wham.
I can't get into that one. I like the Wham version better than all of the horrible, horrible cover versions. But
No. Everybody knows the worst version of it is the Taylor Swift cover because it's like her fucking shtick is singing about exes.
Yeah,
She may as well have.
bad, man.
She went back in time and wrote it. That's what she did.
God, it's bad. Both the Taylor Swift one and the Wham one come on at work all the time, and I can't stand it.
Unintentional blackface.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Still better than Tony Watt.
Oh yes, oh yes.
And
Or
he must not
Chris
be
Seaver.
named.
Oh, is that? I named him. Oh my god. I love the musical cues. Huh. Good one.
I actually watched a Christmas horror movie earlier today called Silent
was that?
Night. It's called Silent Night, and it's from 2012, and I've known about this for a while. And I had always thought, like, man, this looks like a remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. As it turns out, it is a very loose remake of Silent Night, Deadly Night. And the main similarities is there's a scene where a character who isn't the killer goes to visit his like comatose grandfather, and his grandfather warns him about Santa, like in Silent Night, Deadly Night. But other than like that, and the fact that it's about a guy dressed up as Santa killing people, the differences end there. And instead of following the killer, like how Silent Night, Deadly Night, it follows him from him being a kid up into being an adult and then going on a killing spree. This one follows the police going after him, and it stars Malcolm McDowell as the sheriff, which automatically like made me love it because, and I thought when I heard he was in it, I was like, oh, he's probably in it for like 5 minutes. But no, he's actually in it for quite a bit. He plays a bit of an asshole character, but Malcolm McDowell, I just love him. He's so charming. And it also features Jamie King as the deputy who is the main kind of focus of the film. You're following Jamie King's character.
She smacked the shit out of him.
Yeah. Look, I'll say it. You gotta beat your kids, America.
Yeah, I don't ever want kids. I'm too impatient. Like, I just have a dog, and that's enough to like test my patience. So I figure any further than that will just be too much. Fuck kids.
Look, I have respect for people because my dad beat my ass with a belt when I was a kid. And I don't hate him for it. I'm just saying, I believe, and we're getting into this now, we're getting into this conversation. I believe it's completely okay to discipline your children as long as you are not going farther than, like, spanking them with a belt.
Yeah, I used to think it was okay, but now there's a lot of psychological studies that say that especially with young children, you shouldn't use like physical discipline very often or very hard, because it can
psychologically damage them. It can have a lasting effect.
Yeah.
No, I can completely get that.
Like,
and that's one of the reasons I'm like, I say I'm for it, but honestly, I'm a little on the fence about it as well, because I've seen how it has affected people before. But I learned to respect my elders because of it, personally. So,
I was disciplined.
I think it's all about personal
that way. And I it taught me some things. I don't know if it affected me at all. I just think that one would think there are better ways, but just the culture was just so ingrained that that's just how you do it.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
I'm gonna start.
What?
I'm gonna start doing that in the morning when I wake up. Just like do that practicing the Santa face.
Yeah.
Honestly, I want to get a T-shirt with the Jolly Dream Toy Factory logo on it, because it would be like the ultimate obscure reference. Because even if you've seen this movie, you might not remember the name of the toy factory, even though it's plastered everywhere.
Yeah. Huh. I wonder if those exist. Probably someone's made one on Redbubble or something.
The most aggressive...
Did you ever see that Star Trek movie where Malcolm McDowell was the villain?
No, I did not. I didn't even know he was in Star Trek or any of the movies. I mean,
he's fucking good. He's in Star Trek Generations, which is the one that has both Kirk and Picard in it. And he's the bad guy. It's good. I love it.
Shit. I love Malcolm McDowell so much. He's one of my favorite actors.
He's good.
Actually, one of my favorite lines from that movie, Silent Night, is where he's trying to say, look, this is a simple murder case. It's not complicated. And his deputy keeps trying to be like, look, this was obviously, motivated. There was more to this than just some guy snapping. And he's like, don't put avocado on the burger. He's like, keep it simple. Don't put avocado on the burger. And he's like, now you're putting hummus on top of it. It just seemed like such a Malcolm McDowell line, honestly.
Right.
Because he did that Lunchables commercial that one time.
Where did he do a Lunchables commercial?
Yeah, he did a Lunchables commercial, and it's one of my favorites because it's they break the fourth wall, and because they have him dressed up in modern kind of hip hop style clothing, and he's he's wearing a sideways cap, and they break the fourth wall, and the director of the commercial is like Malcolm, what's going on, man? He's like, what's going on, man? Just say hashtag Lunchables. He's like, I mean, I'm a Shakespearean. He's like, do you know what a hashtag is? And Malcolm McDowell says to him, I'm a Shakespearean trained actor. See? It's all coming together. You know, there's something else I've noticed too.
What?
Is I've noticed this in like 90s horror films. I can't remember which one, but I remember there being a joke in Uncle Sam specifically.
Nice.
Where he's going around on like the 4th of July fair and he's really good at like the shooting gallery game. And the guy says to him, "Okay, buddy, geesh, why don't you get a job at a post office?" Which was a joke about postal shootings. And
Damn.
And there was another 90s horror film I saw where they made like the exact same joke about postal shootings. And I'm like, Jesus, these were fucked.
Yeah.
They were ahead of their time on edgy humor.
I like Uncle Sam.
It's my second favorite William Lustig movie.
Is it your first favorite 4th
Maniac.
of July movie?
Look, my first favorite William Lustig movie is Maniac. It is definitely my favorite 4th of July movie. Actually, it's my new tradition. I mean, it's always been my tradition to watch it on the 4th of July. But it's my new tradition to double feature it with Johnny Got His Gun.
Damn.
So
that's a hell of a double feature.
So it's like a goofy, like, slasher flick. Goofy zombie slasher flick. And a really fucking depressing movie about war that I call a body horror film.
Damn. Which one do you watch first?
I think I'm gonna do it with I think when I'm, because I did this year. So next year I'm gonna watch Uncle Sam first, because honestly, after watching Johnny Got His Gun, like, I swear every time I watch that movie, it gets more and more depressing. I remember when I first watched it, I thought it was a great film, but it didn't really get to me.
Right.
Then I watched it again like a few years later, and it made me cry. And then I watched it this year, and I was like fucking dead afterwards. Like, I didn't want to do anything but sleep afterwards.
Damn.
So I'm gonna make that one last. I'm gonna watch it before I go to bed.
See, that's why I'm waiting to watch it, is because I know it's super, super depressing. It's intimidating going into it.
I mean, look, my recommendation would be, if you're gonna watch it, do it when you are as happy as you possibly can be. Because if you are already depressed when you watch it, you are going to go off the deep end. And
Damn.
I would also recommend watching it alone. Just because, very similar to Taxi Driver, it's a film where the experience of it is heightened if you have nobody with you.
Okay. You should double feature it with Taxi Driver. That really gets you.
I can't. I don't think I can do that, honestly. After seeing Taxi Driver, like, I'm sure I'll watch Taxi Driver again one of these days, because that's one of my favorite movies of all time. Like, all time. I can't not watch that movie.
Right.
When I'm in the mood for it. But ever since I saw it in that theater, I don't want to watch it again. I mean, I already watched it again because my friend hadn't seen it, and he's a film buff. But I don't want to watch it again by myself for at least another year or two.
Yeah, normally, like, my viewings of Taxi Driver are at least a year apart, because it's just so heavy in experience.
Yeah, it really didn't used to be that way for me, honestly. It used to be a film I would watch, like, pretty regularly, because I got that it was heavy and depressing, but I never really felt I never really felt depressed about it, and then I watched it while depressed.
That'll do it.
In a theater, no less.
I bet that was insane.
I think the fucked up thing about me going to see that too when I was really depressed was I went to see it because I was like, you know what, I'll go see one of my favorite movies. That'll cheer me up. And it had the exact fucking opposite effect.
Yeah.
And then the Tuesday after, I was in a fucking psych ward.
Yeah, Taxi Driver is not a movie to cheer you up at all. I remember a few years ago I did a similar thing where I was really depressed and I was like, I need a good movie to take my mind off of things, and I watched Begotten myself.
Honestly, I fucking hate Begotten. I really do. I really hate that movie.
I really enjoyed it.
I mean, visually, like for a movie I honestly hate, it's so visually awesome. Like visually, I think it's great. But I don't know. It was just way too artsy for me.
Well, I mean, but that's why I enjoy it, is because, I don't know, you can just sort of let visuals kind of hit you, you know?
I mean, definitely. I don't know. I feel like I'm maybe a little biased because I haven't seen it since I first watched it, which was before I was really into, like, art house cinema and cult cinema. Like, at that point in my life, I'd only seen, like, Eraserhead and, like, The Holy Mountain. Now that I'm really into it, I feel like if I were to rewatch it, I might enjoy it a bit more, but I don't want to take that risk.
You just have to watch it as, like, a purely visual experience, because that's what it is.
See, it got to this point when I first watched it where I was like, man, this movie is like nearly half over.
Huh.
This isn't a horror film. He's bringing presents to children.
Right?
It's honestly just heartwarming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Truly a great family film.
Oh, it's not there yet. Not yet. No, it's not there yet. Mm. I got a new.
Ernest saved Christmas in the related videos.
Christmas Evil and Ernest Saves Christmas, the best double feature.
Oh my god. Slam dunk Ernest.
No. No. Now this and Santa Sangre. Now that's double feature.
I still need to see that.
It's on YouTube.
I always forget about that, but yeah, you keep
find yourself 2 hours to spare. Find yourself 2 hours to spare, and instead of watching Santa Sangre, you watch Nightbreed.
Okay. I really hate it, because I thought the winter break would be like, I'll have, you know, a little less stress, a little more time to watch movies, but it has been the opposite, because I've just been working more.
Yeah. You know what I ordered today? Because I got a instead of getting a regular Christmas bonus, the motherfuckers wanted to just give us gift cards this year, which is $50 gift card versus the $300 I would have gotten if they would have given me a bonus.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they fucking gypped me this year.
Wow.
But thanks to that extra $50, today I ordered the Herschel Gordon Lewis Feast box set. That has
Nice.
all of his major exploitation films.
That's amazing.
So I will now have She Devils on Wheels.
Ooh, please watch it. Please watch it. You will love it.
And his weird science fiction sex comedy about sex robots, How to Make a Doll.
I really want to see that one.
And it has, I think, something weird on it.
Good old Harry.
I still need to see A Taste of Blood,
Hmm.
which was Herschel's first horror movie that he made, that he wanted to make it a serious film and not a splatter film.
Right.
So he decided to make an artsy kind of vampire movie.
I really want to see it.
I hear it's slow as hell, though.
That sucks. Like, slow but atmospheric, I assume.
Yeah.
So many of those kinds of vampire films are like that.
I'm a little disappointed because I just looked. This set does not have fucking. It doesn't have a. What is it? I just said it. Something weird on it. I thought it did.
Oh, dang. How many movies is on it?
It's got 13 of his movies on it, which is all of his major splatter films, I think, including The Gruesome Twosome.
Nice.
Which is one that I don't have, anyway. Let's see. Blood Feast, Scum of the Earth, 2000 Maniacs, Moonshine Mountain, Color Me Blood Red. Oh, it does have Something Weird. I just looked over it. Sweet. Something Weird, The Gruesome Twosome, A Taste of Blood, which is the vampire one. She Devils on Wheels, Just for the Hell of It, How to Make a Doll, The Wizard of Gore, The Gore Girls, and This Stuff Will Kill Ya. It also comes with the documentary about his life, which I've seen that documentary, and it's pretty good.
How much did that set you back for?
Set me back about $100 with that $50 that I had extra.
So it was 100 or 150?
Well, $159.
Dang.
If I would have caught it on sale, I probably would have got it for like $120. But it's limited to 2,000. It comes with the box looks like a cereal box.
That's
and it has like Herschel. It has Herschel on the front holding a bowl full of like blood and entrails and eyeballs with a spoonful of blood. And it's like filled with gory goodness.
Damn.
There we go.
Oh my god.
Yep. Yeah. 50 minutes in.
Yep.
But yeah, it comes in like it comes in a big case that looks like a cereal box, and it comes with like a little booklet with information about Herschel, as well as like activities like a maze and a crossword and a word search, and like it's so cool. Like the set itself is really cool.
Damn.
And it has this huge like 28-page book on the history of like all of his movies.
Damn, I need that.
And it's 17 discs on Blu-ray and DVD.
Shit, that is so nice.
Honestly, I mean, I would say even with all that, I don't think it's worth 160. But
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
But I'm completely okay with paying 100 for it because like that's well worth it.
Yeah, I'd agree. If it was like 100, that's where I think I would probably get it if I had that kind of money.
Which, you know, it bothers me because they're charging like 160 for that and like 70 for the Female Prisoner Scorpion box set. Which thankfully, thanks to fucking Amazon credit card, I got for $30.
Nice.
This is my pride and joy. I'm gonna make a big ass shelf on my wall where I put my expensive Arrow Video box sets because I don't want these babies getting damaged. They cost a lot.
Oh yeah, for sure.
This and the American Horror Project box set. Which they have Malatesta's Carnival of Blood coming out on DVD, actually. DVD and Blu-ray. And I think
Arrow?
Arrow. And I think the DVD is like $20, maybe 15. But it's got all the special features and it's restored.
I'm absolutely going to get that.
Malatesta's Carnival of Blood is one of my favorite movies, honestly. Honestly, that's the whole reason I wanted to get that box set, too. Was just for Malatesta's Carnival of Blood.
I don't remember. Were the other... Did you enjoy the other movies on it?
It also came with The Witch Who Came from the Sea, which is a video nasty.
And you liked that one, right?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, I thought it was pretty decent. It's interesting enough, but I don't know. I liked it, but at the same time, I had some problems with it, and I don't think it's a very fun movie to watch. Nor would I say it's like an immensely atmospheric and creepy movie either.
Okay.
The other one on there, Premonition, was really surprising because with the poster artwork that it comes with, both new and old poster artwork, you expect a movie similar to like The Exorcist or Carrie or even like Kathy's Curse. And you get a movie that just doesn't have much going for it. Like, you expect something a little surreal, but it's not very surreal at all.
That sucks.
But that Blu-ray of Kathy's Curse is ooh.
I need that. Because I really enjoy Kathy's Curse now. It's so wild.
Especially when you pay the extra $8 and get the slipcover signed by the director.
Ugh, beautiful.
And it's got both cuts of the movie fully restored. So it's got the version that makes sense and the version that makes no sense at all.
Nice. And subtitles, I presume?
Oh, hell yeah.
The ultimate special feature.
Interview with the director, audio commentary, interviews with the actress, for the little girl, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and this is like a public domain film, too. They put all this effort into releasing a public domain film.
I love that.
Severin is becoming one of my favorite companies ever so slowly.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. I am immensely psyched for the new Massacre releases that are going to be coming out this year.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited for Fiend because I really like Fiend. And the Blu-ray of it, I think, will be good.
Yeah.
And that weird Texas Satan movie they're releasing.
Yeah. Oh, man, I'm so excited for that one.
It's like a satanic Western, I hear.
Yeah. Which, I love that. I love the aesthetics of, like desert satanic movies. Like, Werewolves on Wheels.
Or the best one, which is The Devil's Reign. Which The Devil's Reign is fucking glorious.
The Killing of Satan.
Oh gosh. The Killing of Satan was a fucking trip. I keep opening new sodas because I'm like, man, I finished that other one, and then I remember, oh yeah, it's sitting up there.
Huh. What you drinking?
Mountain Dew and Pepsi at the same time.
How are they together?
Mediocre.
Huh. About what I thought.
Your name goes in the bad boys and girls book.
Huh.
I'll bring you something horrible.
Nice.
Like, honestly, you almost forget that he just killed 3 people.
Yeah, for real. It's pretty brilliant.
I love the ending to this movie, too. Which, I think you'll love the ending as well. Because I'm not going to say anything else about it. Because I don't want to ruin it. Not that I would, but...
Right. This is so wild. He makes a decent Santa.
He does. He really does. I'm going to have a Hirsch Gordon Lewis marathon when that box set gets here.
Damn. If I could be there, I would totally marathon HGL with you.
I'm kind of upset it doesn't have his children's film he made.
Oh, what's that one called again?
Like, I forget what it was. It was like something Mother Goose. Like, it wasn't really a children's film. It was just like a stage play that he was there and he filmed it. And like, he filmed it professionally because they knew they were being filmed. But
Right.
it's still technically a children's film directed by the godfather of Gore, and I cannot find it anywhere. And that's like something that I have to see. I mean, I've already seen his erotic films, and his fucking sexploitation films aren't very good. Except Linda and Abilene, which is actually pretty interesting, and it was shot at the Span Ranch while the Manson family was living there.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me that. Has the did the stage play ever get like a home release?
I don't know, actually. I'm hoping that Arrow will pick it up. I mean, children's films really isn't Arrow's thing, but it's directed by Herschel. I mean, I'd argue that's significant enough.
Me too.
They're releasing a special edition Blu-ray of The Gruesome Twosome.
Nice.
I know they have one out of Blood Feast. That's really nice. Which Blood Feast is like such a perfect movie.
Yeah. And its spiritual successor, Blood Diner.
Oh, Blood Diner is... I'm honestly upset that the Blu-ray of that here in the US is like $27 because I like that movie, but all it comes with is like an audio commentary from the director. And as much as I am interested in hearing why some random Asian woman decided, hey, let's make a sequel to Blood Feast, at the same time, I don't really want to know that bad enough to pay $27.
Yeah, same.
Which I actually saw this thing, an interview from one of the people who were one of the zombies at the ending of the movie. And they said that so many people walked off set during production because the production was so shaky and, like, honestly, just terrible.
Damn.
Like, they had production problems, and when they were filming in that club, there was no AC in there, and they were filming in like Miami. It was hot.
That's dangerous.
And they completely forgot to like, and they would film long. They would do like 12-hour-long shoots, and they completely forgot to get catering one day. So all of the zombies were like absolutely starved. And when it got to the point to where they actually could eat the blood buffet in the movie, when they jump on that shit and start eating it like crazy, they're doing it because they're starving.
That's amazing. I mean, it's horrible, but good background.
I love reading little behind the scenes things like that, especially about like movies that have a troubled production. Because honestly, you know, if a movie is like a fantastic work of art, I'm not too interested in like listening to the audio commentary unless it's like the director's first movie and he somehow did something amazing with his first time. But if it's something like Things, where everything was going against it and yet it somehow still got made, I want to know these stories.
Absolutely. I love doing the commentary for shot on video movies. Because, I mean, like, I'll never forget, I don't remember which one it was, but I was watching one of my Todd Jason Cook DVDs with the commentary, and halfway through, he just starts, like, checking his Facebook. And, like, he's, like, reading off shit in his news feed, and he'll be like, oh, that's nice. Like, that's just, like, the commentary for, like, 15 minutes of the movie.
Honestly, that's how you do audio commentaries. Like, when I upload the audio commentary for Leeds Host eventually, I'm not even joking. While I'm doing this audio commentary, there are so many times where I'm like sitting in this chair and I'll lean back and the chair will creak and I'll be like, fuck, and I'll interrupt myself mid-sentence and be like, fuck, I'm sorry, I keep leaning back. And I'll just be, and I was sitting there eating homemade spaghetti and meatballs as I was doing this audio commentary. I'm like, okay, it's gonna go quiet for a minute, and I'm just like eating spaghetti like right up against the mic.
That's amazing. Pretty greasy, dude.
It was good spaghetti.
Was it?
It was. It was that good homemade shit.
That's nice.
Oh, yeah. So somebody in the VHS bootleg group was selling the Star Wars Holiday Special on a colored tape. I was going to tag you in it. Because I know you're not like a huge Star Wars fan, but I figured you would maybe be interested.
I don't think so. You know, I don't like hate Star Wars or anything, but I don't care about it like at all. Like, it just I'm not really interested in it enough to buy anything about it. Although I think the holiday special I would enjoy just because of how cheesy and bad it is, and
it's so fucking bad.
It's ridiculous.
It's literally the worst Christmas movie I've ever seen, honestly. Second only to Black Mass of the Nazi Sex Wizard.
Naturally. Because anything by Lucifer Valentine is going to be #1 in terms of bad.
I love going into that group and just reading some of the posts.
Oh, it's so grody, man.
It's I swear, when he posted that picture of the woman who got the Black Mass Nazi Sex Wizard tattoos, he was like, such a beautiful dolly. I'm honored to have my art on your skin. I was like legitimately, I heard it in my head, and I heard it in this like absolutely horrifically creepy voice inside my head, and I was fucking scared.
He's such a creep. Like that's an understatement to say that he's a creep, obviously.
No, definitely.
Like that doesn't quite that doesn't quite flesh out the horror of what he is, but I'll just say the fact that his profile pic on Facebook.
And the fact that apparently his sister's name was Cinderella too.
Yeah. Like, that's not a coincidence. That's very much intentional.
That's honestly, like, legitimately. I want to friend him just so I could privately message him and ask him personally, like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, why can't you make normal movies?
Why can't you be normal?
Seriously, though, like, honestly, I would say Fred Vogel is more normal than he is. At least Fred Vogel shows his face.
Yeah. And he's even said in interviews that he'll never, like, reveal himself in public. He'll never go to a convention. And, for good reason, because the dude is a fucking creepy, nasty guy.
Yeah, I swear, when I heard Amara LeVay died, I was like,
oh god.
I was like, the thing is, I heard about it. The thing is, I heard about this not even from that group.
Really?
I heard this from, I think, like, some cult news site or something. But I heard about it, and as soon as I did, I was like, oh my god, he's going to post something on Facebook that's going to be gross and weird.
Yeah.
And he fucking did. He fucking did. And I swear, I feel bad for that girl. Not just because she literally signed a contract that basically said, yeah, I'll let you rape me on camera. But on top of that, the fact that nobody's going to remember her except maybe her family and him, and everybody else that's going to remember her is people who are fans of those movies. So they're going to remember her for drinking vomit.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked. I wouldn't want to be remembered for that.
Sad, man. Like, it legit makes me sad.
And she was only 19 when she met Valentine. And he was like, I think he was in like his late 20s by that time.
Probably. That wouldn't surprise me at all. And I don't remember what his post was, but I remember it being gross and weird.
Yeah, it was like, rest in peace, my beautiful Dolly.
Oh my god. Like, the fact that he insists on calling women that is like, it makes my skin crawl.
Like, on top of that being pretty fucking misogynistic and objectifying women, like, literally,
like,
like, you know what's
and it's not even like colloquial. He's not like, the like in the 50s they like call a woman doll, which is still outdated. He's like,
and honestly, I wouldn't have a problem with that either. Like calling a woman doll, I mean, I don't really have too much of a problem with that. But just using dolly specifically is just like, that makes it creepy. Stop.
And the way he's doing it is like much creepier than anyone else who would use it would. It's just, ugh. That guy. I could go on for an hour trying to figure out what his damn problem is.
Yeah, Lucifer Valentine is fucked. And you know what's something I just fucking realized too? That it adds another layer of like creepy fucked upness to this.
What?
Is now in the novel Lolita, he calls Dolores Dolly.
Oh man. Okay. That makes even more sense, unfortunately.
Like, I don't even fucking know, man. Like,
It's bad.
fuck.
It's bad. Like, being a part of that Facebook group was eye-opening.
I honestly like being a part of it because it gives me like, it fuels my cringe tanks.
Yeah.
Like, it really does, especially when people post videos of themselves watching the movies. Like, I saw one video this British guy posted where he was filming his TV and he's like, yo, nobody makes movies like Lucifer Valentine. This motherfucker's groundbreaking. Like, motherfucking stop.
Groundbreaking. Like, you know, people have been making legitimately good art films that are like in the vein of that, but actually good for decades.
Yeah. No, there's a movie that came out a couple years ago called Flowers, and it's about a bunch of dead women who wake up in the crawl space of their murderer, and they're trying to remember who they are. I haven't seen it, but I hear like it's obviously got more of a plot, but I hear it's like very similar in this kind of artsy, surreal kind of fucked up tone. Yet I hear it's in a very well made and well acted film.
Yeah, there's nothing groundbreaking about his work. He's
Like,
just
he's just a weirdo who likes to eat vomit and shit. And he confirmed that. He confirmed that he likes to eat poop.
Did he?
Yeah. I don't think you actually saw this. No, I was scrolling through the group one time and somebody was like, so does like Valentine actually run this group or something? And he actually commented on the post. And he's like, yeah, that's me. This is my Facebook page, and this is my group. And he's like, oh my gosh. And the guy replied to him, he's like, oh my gosh, Mr. Valentine, I love your work. You're brilliant. You're a genius. And he's like, but I have one question for you. You ever think of putting any scat play in your movies? And I'm not shitting you, pun intended, mind you, pun intended on that. I'm not shitting you when I say he replied to this fan by saying, I love doing scat play in real life. It's just that it's illegal to distribute a scat pornography film in the US on physical media.
Oh my god.
Which I didn't know that. And
Me
it
neither.
is true, actually. You can sell it digitally all you want. But as soon as you sell that shit, as soon as you fucking sell that shit on physical media, you are done.
Oh.
Yeah. That's... So, on top of being a guy who had an incestuous relationship with his sister and bragged about it, on top of a guy who literally signed a contract with a woman so he could rape her for years, until her literal death, and on top of eating vomit and essentially pulling this kind of Christian Grey shit where he's like, look, I'm part of the S&M community, when really you're a fucking bastardization of it. It's all fucking horrible. Like, somebody needs to castrate that fucker.
Yeah, it's like his existence is a problem. But it fills the cringe tanks. Or not even really him. He just grosses me out.
Yeah, no, his fans.
His fans fill the cringe tanks. Like,
especially people who get tattoos of his art.
Oh, that's the worst. And there are so many. There are so many tattoo posts. For the love of God.
Everybody will dance.
This is so good.
Look, I'm not saying this film is like actual art, but it totally fucking is. On Dasher, on Dancer.
Also, I love the fact that he confirmed that Black Metal Veins was not actually a documentary, so it just means nothing now.
Like, honestly, I'll be honest though. Even knowing that, I still think it's a really depressing and disturbing movie, and I will give him credit because it felt real.
yeah,
But even then, I feel not just lied to, but I think it's kind of fucked up because for the longest time, a lot of people saw this documentary and thought that these people were dead.
yeah.
Because, I mean, there's that scene where that woman actually overdoses and dies. And I thought that was real. And now knowing that, it's kind of like it's kind of like how they made a romantic film about the Titanic. You just don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, man. But I mean, like, am I surprised at all that he crossed that line? No, not even a little.
No. Come on. He made a movie called Black Mass of the Nazi Sex Wizard. Come on.
Yeah, you know, if anything, doing that was tame by his standards. Unfortunately, it gives me no pleasure to acknowledge that, but the tone in this scene is so good.
It really is. Hmm.
The lighting in this movie has been really enjoyable.
I swear, this is like a perfect Christmas movie, especially for me.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, look, I'm not saying it says on the cover of the DVD, the best Christmas movie ever made, in quotations, and then says John Waters, but it does. And honestly, I can see why John Waters loves this movie. I can see why anybody would love this movie. It's Anthrax.
Huh, shit. Huh.
Fucking fire escapes. That dude looks like Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, he does.
Quentin Tarantino had a cameo in fucking Christmas Evil. Pass it on.
Huh, shit.
I'm gonna tweet at Tarantino.
Do it.
Tell him that.
Whoa. Angelina's gonna stab somebody.
See, honestly, this movie could play on ABC Family if it wasn't for like that murder scene and like a couple other scenes. This could be like a drama. It is a drama film,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah. I mean, in so many places, it definitely feels more like a drama film than a horror film, and it's good.
The music cues. I love these montages of the mob getting ready and everything. I don't know why it reminds me of the opening of Shrek.
Yes, Shrek was referencing Christmas Evil. Pass it on.
Honestly, I mean, hell yeah. But no, you see why the original the director wants the original title to be "You Better Watch Out." You know.
Yeah, definitely. It's more fitting.
Yeah, but Christmas Evil just rolls right off the tongue.
It does. It's a good title. You know.
Only if that would have been the title for like Santa's sleigh.
That's a beautiful one.
Honestly, that one's perfect the way it is.
Yeah, I like it.
We're not trying to scare the dickens out of people. Haha. I also watched Scrooged in the past couple weeks.
That's a classic.
Yeah, that one will always be one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah,
just because I mean Bill Murray's great in just about anything, honestly.
Yeah, he's good in it, and then Miles Davis has a cameo in it.
Let us never forget that time that Bill Murray was Garfield.
God, I'm sure he'd like us to forget, but
it's awful, but I love it.
God.
Shit, is the movie about to end? Nope, not yet. Almost.
Yeah, not quite. Not quite there.
I like how they literally start an angry mob, too. It's like a monster movie.
Yeah, it's pretty classic.
Actually, speaking of monster movies, the Gateway is doing a theme next month, and next month they're showing classic Universal monster movies in 35mm.
I am so jealous.
At 2 o'clock and 7. And they're showing Creature from the Black Lagoon on 35mm in 3D.
God damn.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go see Creature because that one's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
it's been a long time to see it too.
I mean, you were trying to get me to watch it for a while. It took me a long time to eventually get to it, but it is so good.
Honestly, I want to see like that and The Mummy because those are like my two favorite Universal monsters.
Are they doing The Invisible Man?
Yes, they are. I've seen The Invisible Man, but it has been over 10 years.
Wow.
The only thing...
Like
no, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, I feel like The Mummy today is vastly underrated.
Oh, no, definitely. Like, everybody remembers, like, Frankenstein and... Everyone remembers Frankenstein's monster and Dracula, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, the Phantom of the Opera. Like, people remember the Phantom, like, Lon Chaney's Phantom more than they do Karloff's Mummy.
Shame.
They're also showing, like, The Raven.
Oh, cool.
And I think they're showing Pit and the Pendulum as well.
Pit and the Pendulum is really good.
Those are on my list.
I recommend it. It would be... I bet they would be great in theaters.
Did you know that the director of The Abominable Dr. Phibes The director of Abominable Dr. Vibes directed The Devil's Rain.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it's kind of sad because of the movie was funded with mafia money and it performed poorly, and because Ernest Borgnine was not paid for his performance in the film, it ruined his career. It
Wow.
ruined the director's career. Right after he had just done Fives and Fives Rises and had like 2 hits in a row.
I did not know that Ernest Borgnine was unpaid for that.
Yeah, he confirmed at a convention a few years before his death that he was not paid for it and that it was funded with mafia money.
Damn.
Yeah, so on top of being fully endorsed by the Church of Satan, featuring Anton LaVey in the cast, and as the technical advisor, and William Shatner, and John Travolta.
I love that William Shatner. God.
I tell you have to see The Devil's Rain, because I waited for the Blu-ray to come out to see it, and I watched it, and it is so fun. The Devil's Rain is a blast. And Ernest Borgnine is amazing in it.
He's a great actor.
He actually said that because the film was plagued with so much like bad shit going on, like there were so many problems during production and accidents happened during production, that he believed the film was cursed. And Ernest Borgnine said he'd never star in another film about Satan ever again.
Damn.
Which I think is kind of interesting, because he starred in he didn't star, but he had a pretty big role in Deadly Blessing, which isn't about Satan, but is about cults.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I guess Deadly Blessing was like not enough about Satan for him. Like,
I mean, they weren't really like cultists; they were more Amish, but still.
And I mean, the whole thing with the incubus, and then
the demon at the end.
Yeah.
Oh god, that demon at the end is so good. Oh shit, I think here comes the ending.
Nice.
Watch this.
Oh my god.
Now that is a depressing ending, honestly.
Yeah, this is incredible.
Because you and I both know he did not turn into Santa Claus suddenly. It's honestly honestly with that ending, it makes it a lot more sad if it would if it would have just been him going off the cliff and dying.
Yeah, that I think was a perfect choice.
And that's why I love this movie. Like, that ending is one of the big reasons.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. That was, in a movie filled with high points, that might be the high point, I think, for me.
It really is good. Look, it's like Society, how the ending is like the best part.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't, because the whole movie is legitimately enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like the cherry on top.
And if you're sitting with a movie for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you go through it, whether it's good, whether it's not, if you have the ending, if the last moment you're left with in the movie is like perfect, it just makes the whole experience all the much better.
Oh no, definitely. Like, I think there are a lot of movies that do that, and I think one of the best examples is another Christmas film, Brazil, which I forgot was a Christmas film, but with the original ending where it turns out he was actually captured by the government and tortured to death. That's just like honestly, it started to get a little too goofy and like ridiculous when he gets saved and escapes, and you like the character enough to where you're like, man, I wish he would have. I'm like happy he's escaping, and then suddenly he's not. It's like it's nihilistic as hell. It's a blow to the soul.
Yeah, Brazil is a tough one. It's really good. Robert De Niro has a great role in that movie.
Leaning ever so slightly out of frame because I got a new chair.
How is it?
It's a nice leather chair that leans back like all the way.
Hey, nice. Is there anyone still in the chat?
Actually, yeah.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, he said, the dude said, oh my god, Andrew, you kick ass.
Nice. I'll take it.
The Devil's Reign is great, and so is every... You know, Anton LaVey was the technical advisor on a few movies. And surprisingly, movies about Satan that star William Shatner is kind of its own subgenre.
Is it really? Are there enough of them to make a subgenre?
I think there are like 3 or 4. And I don't know all of them, but I've heard about this. And I think it's kind of crazy that he starred in that many. And they had, when they made The Devil's Reign, I was doing a bunch of research as I was watching it. When they made The Devil's Reign, they only had like 17 weeks to shoot the film.
Okay.
Or no, it might not have been 7. It might have been 7 weeks, honestly. They only had like a couple months to shoot it. And keep in mind, I mean, this is like a kind of low budget, forgotten cult film, but it still had a pretty decently wide release. So,
was William Shatner in the Satanic Rites of Dracula?
Was he?
Was he?
Look, I haven't seen any of the Christopher Lee Dracula movies, so I wouldn't know.
I have. I've seen the Satanic Rites of Dracula, but it's been a long time, and I don't remember William Shatner being in it.
I know Christopher Lee was in. I mean, yeah, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing was in it, which, again, I have not seen the Satanic Rites of Dracula. I own like 3 copies because it's public domain.
It is great. I recommend you see it.
I want to see the Christopher Lee Dracula movies in order. I mean, not that I'm sure that seeing them in order doesn't matter, but I want to see the very first one he was in.
Yeah, I'd say that's worth it. Seeing him in order.
I don't see him in the cast here.
Yeah, I might have misunderstood what the guy was saying, but I thought he was implying that William Shatner was in it, which I really did not think he was in that movie.
But if he was, it would be on. Yeah.
Oh man, if he was in that movie. I need to see William Shatner's movies other than, I mean, I guess I've seen Miss Congeniality, and he was in that.
See Kingdom of Spiders. I haven't seen that one, but I know that one's about him facing off against a bunch of killer tarantulas.
Oh my god!
They killed actual tarantulas for the film too.
That's fucking great. William Shatner fighting tarantulas.
Yeah, I always heard that one is really fun. I know he starred in like quite a few different like low budget B movies when he was still shooting Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And The Devil's Reign is one of them that he was shooting. He actually had to leave the set for like a week to go to a convention.
Did you watch the original Star Trek, Cody?
It's been a very long time. I watched it when I was like in my early teens, and I really liked it. I haven't watched actual Star Trek, whether it be any of the incarnations. Like the last one, like the last incarnation of Star Trek I watched was The Next Generation, which I didn't finish, and that was also like in my mid-teens. And I'm like, I don't want to like step back into it and start watching it again because it's just like so time consuming.
Yeah, it's immense. Like I'm doing a rewatch right now of all the series except Enterprise because that one's not worth watching at all. And I'm like, it's taken me months to get like halfway through The Next Generation, like because the episodes are a solid hour. There's like 26 per season. Like it's rough.
Back when TV shows like were like that, you know.
Oh yeah, totally.
Short film by Marilyn Manson, Groupie. I've heard of that short film.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've heard of it too.
But I don't think he's ever gonna release it. He showed it to his manager and like Andy Dick, and they both were like, "Hey, don't fucking release that."
Wait, why did he show it to Andy Dick?
Apparently, Marilyn Manson and Andy Dick are very good friends. Which
Andy
is
Dick was in Star Trek.
Rising.
Speaking of which,
wow.
I don't remember what Star Trek he was in, or like what episodes or whatever, but it all connects to Star Trek. Everything goes back.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm dying of death. All right.
Aren't we all?
You know what? I want to see the Fu Manchu movies because I want to see.
Me too.
Because wasn't it like Christopher Lee or was it Vincent Price?
I thought it was Vincent Price, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure it's Vincent Price, but I want to see him just because it's Vincent Price, like literally in yellow face.
Yeah, it's bad,
horrible. But really I want to
bad.
See it because like Fu Manchu is like one of those legendary characters in like cult cinema, like it's similar to like Coffin Joe, I would say, in the sense that he exists, people know about him, but like not everybody is like familiar with the source.
And I think the yellow face contributes to that because today that makes it immediately beyond like irrelevant and obsolete.
Definitely, it's horrible, but it was kind of a thing with the times. We have to like learn from it and keep on rolling.
Try not to do it again. Although we still do yellowface. Yellowface is still something that happens.
I know Mickey Rooney was in Yellowface in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
God, oh man, have you seen Breakfast at Tiffany's?
I have not.
It is like the worst, most horrible caricature yellowface I have ever seen. It's like
I've seen clips of Mickey Rooney in the yellowface, and it's like really bad. I know that.
It's like wow, like even for the times, it's like Jesus, it's so bad. Like it's pretty horrifying because it's completely played for laughs. Like
oh God,
it's complete. Like this is how. Because, it's based off the novel, but, when they're making it into a movie, they changed a few things. They made the gay character in the book was, of course, not gay in the Hollywood film. And then they're like, we need a character for the comedy. Let's put Mickey Rooney in Yellowface. That'll get us some laughs.
I also want to see that movie where they had John Wayne be Genghis Khan.
Ooh. Yeah, I heard that one's really bad.
Because John Wayne, on top of like just him being Genghis Khan, he was also really racist in real life, which makes that honestly even more interesting.
Yeah, I do. know if I remember anything specific he said, but
He said,
there's a lot of stuff
actually,
about
I'm
his
not going to
racism.
repeat what he said, even though it's not like necessarily. It doesn't have any necessarily like slurs in it, but I'm not going to fucking repeat what he said because it was still pretty bad. I know they referenced it on Eric Andre.
That's probably where I remember hearing about it most recently was Eric Andre. But
and that was apparently when he was doing an interview for Playboy.
Huh.
In like the 60s, I think.
I recently found out because I saw something going along on social media about all the sexual assault stuff coming to light and how there's a lot of people talking about it, but not a lot of people really doing anything about it. And then someone was like, posted a reference to this time that, so apparently Frank Sinatra, old Blue Eyes himself, was a very good friend of Woody Allen's, like I think Mia Farrow, right?
Yeah.
And when he found out that Woody Allen was abusing her and like molested their daughter or whatever, whatever that whole horrible scandal was, Frank Sinatra legit used his mafia connections to put a hit on Woody Allen after he found out he was abusing Mia Farrow and their daughter, which like that's putting your money where your mouth is.
Look,
I think that's a pretty great story.
Yeah, I have nothing but respect. I mean, I've always had nothing but respect for Sinatra, but that's a beautiful story.
Yeah,
now only if they would have succeeded.
Yeah, man, like, you know, I prefer Bing Crosby as a singer, but Frank Sinatra as a person, for sure. Using the mafia connections for good instead of evil.
You know, one of the most hilarious things I ever read was about Duke Mitchell's film Massacre Mafia Style. And when he was making it, he asked Frank Sinatra, who he was friends with, you know. He asked him, "Do you want to be in my movie? You know, I'm making this like tribute to The Godfather." And Frank Sinatra said to Duke Mitchell, "Look, Duke, you're my friend, but I get paid real money to be in real movies."
Shit. And you know, it's weird, but I mean, when you think about it, Frank Sinatra was in some legit Hollywood classics. He was in like The Manchurian Candidate. You know, Frank Sinatra, who I feel like nobody thinks of as an actor at this point. But he was in a lot of legit, like, American classic cinema. Or maybe not a lot, but at least some.
Oh,
and he was good in that movie.
You know who was great in what movie?
What?
Woody Allen and Ants.
Oh my god! I knew that you were like cooking up a meme. Like you had asked the question, but you hadn't quite thought of like what the meme was going to be yet. So you had to like sit there and turn the gears for a second. No, I hate Ants, and I really dislike Woody Allen in any movie because his personality is just obnoxious to me. And he plays himself in all of his movies. Like in an exaggerated version of himself. So it's even worse.
Look, if you watch Bananas and you tell me that you did not think it was at least a little bit funny, I might be a little bit upset because...
Look, you know that I'm not talking about Bananas because I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. But like the ones I've seen, you know, especially the classics, the Annie Hall, etc., Hannah and her sisters.
What's Up, Tiger Lily? That Japanese film he redubbed.
God. I haven't seen that.
Neither have I. Look, the only Woody Allen film I've seen is Bananas, and I've seen a little bit of Everything You Wanted to Know About Sex, but we're too afraid to ask.
And Ants.
Well, we didn't really write or direct that one. He was just in it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought he might have directed it. I wasn't sure.
Christopher Walken was in Ants, for fuck's sake.
So was Sylvester Stallone. Doesn't make it good. I like Sylvester Stallone a lot. And I like Christopher Walken, too. I do. He's a good actor.
Okay, look, if you don't like Christopher Walken, you got a problem, all right? That's just like a fact.
Yeah, I don't know how someone would dislike him. He's just a pretty almost objectively solid actor, at least.
I wore this watch up my ass for 2 years straight.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, he didn't. Woody Allen did not write or direct Ants. He just starred in it.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. Also, Jennifer Lopez is in it, right? Isn't she in it? Isn't she the princess or the queen or whatever?
No, I think that was Sharon Stone.
Was it?
Well, wait a minute.
I thought it was...
No, Jennifer Lopez was in it, but she wasn't the princess or the queen.
Then who was J-Lo?
J-Lo was Azteca, who was the, like... Who was the worker? One of the worker ants.
Okay, that's right. I'm looking at it now.
See it again, Andrew.
It's got an incredible cast. I'm looking at
Jim
it now.
Cummings, Danny Glover, Gene Hackman,
Anne Bancroft. For the love of God.
Dan Aykroyd.
It's got like a weirdly great cast. I still don't like it. I've seen it like 4 times, and not one of those times did I enjoy it. So I'm not going back to watch it a 5th time. I'm not going to do it.
You're going to have to, because that's one of my favorite animated movies.
I've seen it 4 times. I don't think my mind is going to change.
I saw Sledgehammer 4 times, and I didn't like it any of those times.
Did you see Sledgehammer 4 times?
No, but my point stands.
No, it doesn't. And also, Sledgehammer is way better.
Okay, you kind of got me there. Honestly, it's way more enjoyable because it's a slasher film. That's the only reason.
Who killed that Sledgehammer?
Who killed Captain Alex? That's the real question.
That is the real question.
That movie is a work of art.
Did you buy that movie?
Well, no, I didn't. I plan on buying it eventually, but I watched it on their official YouTube channel.
Okay,
because they have it for free to watch. Because they're not just in it for the money. They want everybody to see this film. They didn't think anybody outside the village would see it. So yeah. I think me seeing it is honestly just as important to them as me buying it. I am gonna buy it because I did really like it.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad I bought it because
I want to get their horror film that they're coming out with.
Oh yes! Oh my God!
Ebola Hunter and Cannibal Mama. Or no, it's called Eaten Alive in Uganda. Actually, They're making a cannibal film.
I'm so psyched for it, man. Like, they are the real deal. Look, Hollywood.
The home of the best of the best movies.
And you know, when I bought the DVD, they sent me a ton of shit. One of which
don't they send you like
was a fridge magnet. Yeah, there was a poster that was signed by all of them. There was a fridge magnet. There was a sticker. There were several like handwritten film stills, or not handwritten, film stills with like notes, handwritten notes on them. It was very nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna order it eventually one of these days. I know that
You
like their
should.
sales have gone way up since I had everything covered. It is great because
Yeah,
they deserve that money. They do deserve it.
I think
Considering
so.
they're making really fun, just really fun, entertaining action movies in a country where drinking water is, a commodity.
Right, right. It's a great thing that they're doing, and they deserve all the money they get. I think for sure.
Yeah, they had a Kickstarter too that I didn't give money towards, but because by the time I found out about the Kickstarter, it was over.
I assume it got funded.
It did. They did pretty well for themselves. They have a pretty decent sized cult following, which is great.
Yeah. And I imagine it's only going to grow, like, with the more movies that they make.
Oh, yeah, probably. It's just like Neil Breen. Like, nobody was talking about Neil Breen or Fateful Findings until somebody found out about this movie, and then they spread the word. Although Neil Breen hasn't blown up like Tommy Wiseau yet.
Fucking Fateful Findings. That I haven't actually seen the movie, but I've seen the trailer, and it's like
I
want to see.
I tried to watch it once, and I swear the first 10 minutes, no joke, was more confusing than the entirety of fucking Mulholland Drive, and I hate Mulholland Drive.
I'm not a big fan of Mulholland Drive. It's not my least favorite David Lynch film, but it's getting there.
Isn't your least favorite like Lost Highway?
That is. I mean, Lost Highway has great moments. Don't get me wrong. But then there's just a lot of the movie that is bad. Like that surrounds these few really good moments, I think, in my opinion. And it's just not worth it, To me, the best movie he did that was kind of like Lost Highway and Mulholland Drive was Inland Empire. That, to me, is where he finally sort of got that formula really right.
Okay, but we all know his best movie, all right? His best movie is fucking Eraserhead. Everybody knows.
Well, yeah, of course.
That Blu-ray of Eraserhead is too beautiful for words.
I should get
I
it.
want to cry.
I just have the DVD.
The old, was Thailand import or whatever?
Korean import.
Or Korean, yeah. I know it's one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does its job.
That's the only way you can get Also Shield of the SS anymore, which is a shame, because that version is cut.
Damn. Do you have an uncut version?
Yes, I do. It's actually on YouTube. Last time I checked, it's the uncut version was on YouTube.
Oh, nice. But do you have it in physical?
Yes, I do. I burned it onto a disc.
Nice.
Until they release a box set.
Eventually, someone will.
Because they had a box set out from, like, I forget who did it, but they had a box set out, and it went out of print. And now it's like $200 for the fucking Elsa box set. And I like these movies, but, like, the only really redeemably, like, rewatchable ones are She-Wolf of the SS and The Tigress of Siberia, which is the very first and the very last film in the series. The second and third ones are just really uninteresting. And I'm wearing my fucking Elsa shirt too.
Nice.
Which is for the second one because I wanted to get one for the first one, but I didn't want to walk around with a swastika on my chest.
Right. That makes sense. That's just, it's not worth the risk of people misinterpreting.
The one for the second one where she's running a whorehouse in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that. See, it's a shame that it's not good because the premise of that one sounds so promising.
Yeah, I thought it was really boring, honestly. I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched it since I first watched it, so I might need to go back, refresh my memory on it, make sure that it is the worst one. But, well, actually, I wouldn't even say that's the worst one. The worst one is The Wicked Warden, which wasn't even an Elsa film originally. It was just a Jess Franco film that featured Diane Thorne, and it was called Wanda the Wicked Warden, or Greta the Mad Butcher. And then it just kind of became known as Elsa the Wicked Warden, and it became the third one unofficially, though. But I have them all now. I have them all.
Have you ever marathoned them?
No, but Tigers of Siberia is like, honestly, almost as good as the first one, because it tried to have a plot.
Okay, that's a good start.
Because, honestly, I mean, they have plots technically, like stuff happens, but when you get down to it, the first Elsa movie and the second and third one are just women in prison films. They're stupid. They're over the top. They're pretty offensive, honestly. They're sexist. I mean, they're misogynistic, definitely. But at the same time, they're very entertaining movies. And what I think is really interesting is the first Elsa movie is actually about Elsa trying to prove that women should be able to fight in combat. Should be able to go out and be like frontline infantry, because she's torturing innocent female prisoners of war to prove that women can handle pain better than men. So that way they should be soldiers.
That premise is insane.
So it's equally like a misogynistic and like sexist film, but it's also kind of a feminist film at the same time. I mean, there's still, you know, the good old nudity everywhere and torture and rape, but it didn't really have much of a plot, really. It was just people being tortured and trying to escape. And they used the sets from the Hogan's Heroes TV show for that movie.
Oh my god, did they really?
Yeah, and the thing is, they used them because they were like, well, we need to have like a set that looks like a Nazi base or like a kind of prison camp, but we also need to be able to burn it down because we want to have a big finale where the place burns down. And the producers of Hogan's Heroes were like, yeah, we're done shooting the show. You can burn it down if you want. So they shot it there and then burned it down.
Have you ever seen Hogan's Heroes?
I have not, actually.
Dude, it's ridiculous. Like, it's incredibly interesting just because of what it is. Like, I don't know. It's really hard to explain, but it's just like a comedy about, I don't know, a comedy about prisoners of war in Nazi Germany. It's just, especially for the time period, it's interesting that it was a real thing. It's way over the top.
Yeah. Then the fourth one.
Also, what were you saying? The star died of erotic asphyxiation.
Oh, wow. That is actually kind of fucked.
Oh, no, it's worse than that. I forgot. He didn't. Okay. So apparently, like, he in secret was like a part of this group that would partake in erotic asphyxiation. And Hogan, and it was like a gay group. He would do it like with other men, which of course at the time
was like, okay. Yeah, very, very frowned upon.
Very not okay. And so eventually he was like, I don't want to do this anymore, and he just stopped doing it. And then one of the members of the group came after him and killed him.
Wow. That is really fucking interesting, honestly.
Yeah, someone could make a movie about that. The Hogan's Heroes murder.
Jesus Christ. I know, like, the fourth Elsa movie, The Tigress of Siberia, I went into expecting it to be like Wicked Warden or the Harem Keeper of the Oil Shrieks, but it turned out to be a movie that actually has some kind of plot, and it's like Elsa runs a prison camp in Siberia for really no reason at all, and then suddenly she's in Canada and she's running a whorehouse, and somebody's trying to stop her.
I really wish there were more good, sort of Nazi exploitation films, because I think there is potential there. There is potential there to say and do work, and it just hasn't really been done. I think it was almost done in, what is it, Gestapo's Last Orgy. I think it came close and then derailed itself.
I love that movie. It's so fucked.
I think a good template for a movie like what I want those movies to be is Riccio.
So you want it to be like a combination, like Alsa Riccio crossover.
Yes.
Honestly, that actually sounds like a pretty badass movie, honestly. Like,
because I mean, the thing is, Riccio is undeniably a ridiculous exploitation film, but it is one that says a lot of good shit, and you know this.
It does. It really does.
You know this. And back in the day, the situation in Hong Kong was worse than, the United States. But now, our conditions here with the prison systems and whatnot are really approaching sort of the near dystopian Hong Kong levels. And so watching Riccio today for an American audience is insanely relevant. I'm glad that you had me watch it. It's a very good, interesting film.
God, I love Riccio.
And my boy Ricky was reading the Communist Manifesto in his cell.
I mean,
he was on that.
Shit, maybe, man. I don't know. Honestly, he's fucking playing the flute more than anything else.
I loved that. I loved the flute.
It's a beautiful fucking thing. It really is.
It is, I think, a legitimately great movie. Like, unironically, a good film, I think.
And ironically, it's like the greatest martial arts film ever. Honestly, like,
I don't think it's the greatest martial arts film ever, but it's top 5 for me.
See, it's the number 1 for me because...
Well, you don't really like the martial arts genre very much, particularly.
True, you have me, because like the only martial arts films that are like among like the films I would say are the best martial arts films are just Bruce Lee films. Like that is where it's at for me, really.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruce Lee films are amazing because you're really seeing, I don't know, close to kind of like I love Jackie Chan's movies, but I mean, he even says himself, it's like stylized. It's stylized martial arts. Bruce Lee was not very stylized. So it's more close to the real thing, than almost any other martial arts film that I can think of.
There was a fucking movie that I wanted to tell you about. Because I remember I told you I was watching it, but I don't think I told you about the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's this old Hong Kong horror film from I think it was either the 70s or 80s. Called Black Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And
I remember you telling me about it.
And it's literally about this dark magician who does spells and potions for people for money. And this rich woman is like, oh, I want to make this man fall in love with me. And he tells her what she needs. And he's like, I'm going to need some of your breast milk. She's like, well, wait, talk about, I can't produce breast milk. I'm not pregnant or anything. And he's like, don't worry, I know how. And he takes her to this graveyard that's like obviously a fucking soundstage with just some soil on it and some holes that have like fake corpses and coffins in them. And it's like an old creepy graveyard in this forest. And it's like the kind of look of it like a soundstage, like they tried really hard not to make it look like it, to the point to where it does. It's like the sets in Female Prisoner Scorpion almost, like some of those
Right.
kind of stylized sets. And he straight up brings her to this graveyard, digs up a corpse, pulls it out, burns, sets the corpse's chin on fire, and then the corpse starts to like spew milk out of its mouth, and then suddenly she starts lactating.
Wow.
It is a fucking mishmash of crazy weird shit. And with the English dub on it, it's like a super cheesy English dub. It was legitimately like one of the most entertaining like black magic films I've ever seen. And then they made a sequel to it with the same characters encountering black magic again, and they act like they've never encountered it before in this movie. And this guy's running, and this new magician is running a horror house, but he's putting a screw in the heads of zombies so they look like normal people. And then when you take the screw out, they turn back into zombies. And he's whoring out zombies.
Huh. I need to see this. Like, desperately.
It is like fucking Mondo Bizarro level shit. Like the killing of Satan level at times. And the killing of Satan was pretty bizarre.
Oh yeah. I mean, it really was.
Oh yeah.
But let's never forget how surprisingly good the Polonia Brothers Black Magic film was.
Oh my fucking god. I was actually thinking about that the other day too. I was thinking about how we paid $5 for that fucking movie to watch it. And
yeah,
it was the most expensive movie out of all the ones we watched, and we were just like, well, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the best movie we watched that fucking night.
Yeah, you know what?
Awesome.
Worth the $5, you know, because I
well
remember
worth
we were
it.
like,
I want to get the Blu-ray.
Good. You know, I actually did end up picking up the Blu-ray, which came with another movie called like
Church of the
Sorrow, Church of the Damned, which I want to watch that as well. But
I want to get that Blu-ray because I already have the Blu-ray of the Polonia Brothers Hallucinations and Lethal Nightmares, which those were pretty good.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten that one, but the must-see for the Polonia Brothers is, I think, now
Splatter Farm.
Splatter Farm.
I
that
plan
Black Magic movie.
I plan on getting around to Splatter Farm because that one has always been on my list.
Dude, it's the best thing they have done that I have seen.
I also want to see, like, I know it's not a Polonia Brothers film, but Wood Chipper Massacre is one I want to see.
Ooh, it's good. That one's fun. Just go into it not thinking it's going to be gory, because it isn't. Like, it's not like a slasher movie, but
I've heard Wood Chipper Massacre, the director intended it to be like a kind of dark comedy more than a slasher or anything like that.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, I've always heard that. I've always heard that the director like gets mad at people who get mad that they go in and it's not what they expect.
I think he kind of messed himself up with that, because like he called it Wood Chipper Massacre.
I mean, yeah, you give a movie that title, and I mean, look, it's like Microwave Massacre. You give a movie that title, you're gonna expect something specific.
Yeah, like, come on, dude, you can't get mad at people for that. Like, you know, and the cover art for every release of it that I've seen is like pretty bloody and like looks like a slasher film. And that's really not what it is. So, you know, you can't be mad at people for that. That's not really fair, because it's misleading. It just is. But it is good. I really enjoy it. Just, you know, if you go into it expecting what it is, then it's a fun watch.
Yeah, because I've always heard it like a comparison. Like, I've heard from people, and they say that it's like a combination of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, that's kind of a good way to put it. It's a lot of fun. It's essentially like a guy and a guy had access to a wood chipper, and so he got his family to be in a movie centered around this wood chipper. Which as a zero budget film, that's a perfectly good reason to make a movie, because how often is somebody without a budget going to have access to like an industrial wood chipper, right? Better make a movie about it while you have it.
Oh, definitely. Okay, I wanted to bring up this topic of discussion because I figured it'd be an interesting topic.
Okay.
Okay, best and worst Christmas movies and Christmas horror films.
Okay. That's tough. Because there's actually a lot of Christmas movies that I like. Okay, I got one for worst. Shrek the Halls is incredibly annoying.
Oh my fucking god! I did not expect you to bring that one up. I forgot that fucking existed.
In the chat, Christmas with the Cranks.
Oh god, no, that
I forgot about Christmas with the Cranks.
That movie is so fucking tone deaf because there are so many moments that are like trying to be like a horror film just because they were like, hey, we got Jamie Lee Curtis, why not? Like, that movie is tone deaf as hell.
It is.
Worst Christmas horror, not Christmas horror movie, but worst Christmas movie for me, personally, one of the worst ones I've ever had to sit through is a little film by the name of A Carol Christmas.
I don't know what that is.
It is a Hallmark movie. I have to sit through quite a few Hallmark movies because my family loves to just sit and fucking watch them. But it's called A Carol Christmas. And if you couldn't tell from the clever title, it's a play on A Christmas Carol, except the Scrooge character's name is Carol.
Oh my god.
And you know how, like, it doesn't matter what adaptation, okay? Even the Looney Tunes adaptation. Every adaptation of A Christmas Carol that I've ever seen, when the Ghost of Christmas Future gets there, it gets kind of creepy. But in this film, nothing. No fucking creepy tone or atmosphere. And it is so insufferable. Like, I know people say, oh, it's been over-adapted and reimagined so many times. And I mean, yes, it has. But you have not seen the worst until you have seen that. Like, I've had people who say to me that the Jim Carrey one, the animated Jim Carrey one, was the worst. When I would argue that's one of the best adaptations of A Christmas Carol. Because it had, instead of just going for a creepy tone at the end, it was a Disney movie, and it went for a consistently horror-based creepy tone. Even when it was trying to be jovial with, like, the Ghost of Christmas Past, it was still kind of creepy.
Huh.
But yeah, it's essentially fucking A Christmas Carol, but with a rich white woman who doesn't realize she has privilege. It's fucking awful.
Wow. I hate rich people, man.
Yeah. Okay, best regular Christmas movie.
Charlie Brown Christmas. Because I hate the Jesus part of it, but the whole part of it where Charlie Brown is like hating on commercialism is like, it does my heart good. Also, it's cute. I like it a lot. And great jazz score.
I mean, it is a classic. It's a classic. But best Christmas movie, and this is cliched as fuck, but probably Christmas Story. Probably.
It's great.
It's cliched, but it is a great movie. You can't deny that. And for a very close second, honestly, I would maybe, and that I say maybe close second because I haven't seen this in like a very long time, but It's a Wonderful Life. Because I
Yeah.
I remember seeing that when I was young and really loving it, and I remember seeing it a few years ago, and I still really liked it. I haven't seen it since. I need to rewatch, but that one's always been pretty high up for me. And National
Yeah.
Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, I like those two a lot as well. You know, the original Grinch Stole Christmas and many of the adaptations of the one you just said, A Christmas Carol, because I mean that is a legitimately great story. A Christmas Carol is just as a story. I think it's
Scrooged
great.
is probably my second.
Yeah,
that's my favorite adaptation.
Scrooge is great. Yeah, I think it might be mine too. Although the Patrick Stewart adaptation is very good.
There's a Patrick Stewart one?
Yeah, there is indeed. And it's very good, where he, of course, plays Scrooge.
I was about to say, like, is he Tiny Tim?
No, naturally, he's Scrooge, and the best in the biz. He's top-tier Shakespearean actor that moved to the screen.
And then starred in the Emoji Movie.
Well, you can't say starred in the Emoji Movie. Wasn't he there for like 2 minutes?
True. I love that in interviews he was like, I've been preparing my whole life for this role. Like he knew it was a meme.
Yeah, like he knew, and he has a good sense of humor. And most importantly, everyone has a price.
I mean, look, I'm not going to blame him for it, nor am I going to blame Stephen Wright for it.
You know, I'm not going to blame anyone except the horrible people that wrote the film.
Yeah, the guy who wrote it, who claimed he was inspired by Toy Story.
That's a sham.
And that he says that he wrote the film because he wanted it to be about being who you are and expressing yourself because he's gay and he got made fun of for it in high school. This is something I've read in interviews.
Yeah, he was only saying that because he knew the movie was terrible and he needed some way to sell it to people.
Oh, no, definitely. Okay, worst Christmas horror movie, and I'm going to make it a rule right now, no Black Mass of the Nazi Sex Wizard, just because that's... Well, first of all, you haven't seen it. Second of all, that's my easy way out, so I'm going to get rid of that.
Yeah, no, that's the low-hanging fruit. We don't need to go for that. You go first, because I need to think about it.
Worst Christmas horror movie for me is probably Jack Frost 2: Revenge of the Killer Mutant Snowman.
How are you gonna say that?
It is so awful. I don't know how they fucked it up that bad.
It is terrible.
Like, I feel like they just realized that that people like the movie because it's bad, and they were like, hey, let's play off this. And it's a shame because the director of the second one is the same director as the first. So he fucked himself over on that.
And the thing was, I was excited to see it when I
caught it
watched
it on cable as a kid, and it broke my heart.
Unless I can think of something else, that's my pick. Because I got to be honest, you know, I haven't seen a ton of Christmas horror films. I've probably seen like 7 to 10, maybe a little more. And I've liked most of them, to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make one that's like exceedingly bad. Because even like one of the worst ones, like Elves, like I would argue Elves in a technical sense and from a serious standpoint is one of the worst Christmas horror movies. But it's so fucking inept and perfectly awful that it becomes one of my favorite Christmas movies in general.
I have to watch it before December is over, but yeah, I'm excited about Elves, but okay, so best Christmas horror movie.
Black Christmas. I don't even got to think.
Yeah, Black Christmas, followed very closely by Christmas Evil. For me now.
I mean, maybe third, because I like Silent Night, Deadly Night a bit more, because that one's more fun. Like Christmas Evil makes you feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, but it also kind of depresses you. While Silent Night, Deadly Night, I mean, again, serious tone, definitely, but it's still fun.
Yeah. I actually haven't seen Krampus. Have you seen Krampus, Cody?
I saw it the night it came out, and I loved Krampus. I thought it was really fun.
I still haven't seen it. I want to.
It's very much like Gremlins in the sense that it's like very equally funny and creepy. And I went into it, hoping that it would be good, like really hoping, because I like the director who did Trick or Treat. So he's already done one great holiday themed horror film. I was like, hopefully he can do a Christmas one. And it's great that it was made and that it did well in the box office and that people liked it. And I am a little upset it had to be PG-13 because that's the only way Universal was like gonna release it, is if he made it PG-13, which kind of sucks.
Right.
Because I would really like a darker, more violent version of it. But it's good as is. It's really good as is. And the monsters were like all practical effects and everything, so it was really cool. And it's just great that it did well because it shows like studios, even if they keep making PG-13 ones, as long as they're at least fun or watchable, it shows the studios that we could use more Christmas horror.
Yeah.
We really don't have any like big budget ones. I mean, like that people actually liked. Like Krampus is the big one that comes to mind when it comes to big budget mainstream holiday horror, that and Gremlins. But like, yeah. But I know like the original Black Christmas, that fell into obscurity as soon as it hit theaters here in the US, and it became a cult classic because it aired on TV so many times.
Did you ever see the remake?
The remake is awful, but I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit. It's like it's essentially the same movie, but instead of making Billy mysterious and like hiding in the attic in the shadows and spooky and just like and have no real backstory other than what you can kind of get out of the obscene phone calls in the original film, they decide to give him a full-fledged flashback dedicated backstory where he's actually the product of an incestuous relationship between like a brother and sister.
Oh my God.
He had like some problem with his liver, so his skin is bright yellow.
Wow.
Like, I mean, there are scenes where it looks like they didn't even put makeup on him and they just kind of went in frame by frame and painted his skin yellow with digital effects almost. And they flesh out his backstory and give him the backstory that after he was born, his mother hated him and had another kid who was a little girl, and he killed his little sister. He killed his little sister and then killed his mother, who he then cut the skin off her back and using cookie cutters shaped like gingerbread men, cut the skin and then put it in the oven and ate it. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not a bad movie because it's very fucking awful. Compared to the original film, which was like really heavy in atmosphere, light on gore, this film swaps that out completely, has no atmosphere and a lot of gore. It's worth it for the gore, and the thing is, the studio actually forced the director to put all the gore in the film because they saw that movies like Saw were doing well. So they figured, oh, that's what people want, is more gore. And they shot like specific scenes just to put in the trailers and not in the movie.
Interesting.
The producers made the director do that. And the thing is, Bob Clark was on set. This movie came out like shortly after he died. And he was on set. And being on set of this horror film, of this big budget remake of his little cult film that not everybody knows about and, has this small dedicated fan base, he sees that this movie is finally getting attention, and he was so moved by it. even if he gave them his blessing, like,
Oh, nice.
because originally it wasn't going to be super heavy on the gore. It probably still wouldn't have had a very good atmosphere, but it still would have not have been overly violent. I mean, not that I have a problem with it being gory, because the gore is part of what makes it entertaining. But But Bob Clark, gave him his blessing, and then literally as he was driving away from the set, him and his son got in a car crash and he died.
Wow.
And the thing is, that day on set, or well, not the first day he came onto the set. He spent a few days on the set actually. But when he was on set, he was suddenly inspired and he wanted to make a true sequel to the original Black Christmas. And then he died in a car accident.
That sucks.
And now people mainly remember him for a combination of Porky's, Black Christmas, Christmas Story, and most of the kind of internet crowd who talks about bad movies remember him for Baby Geniuses, which it's real sad that that's what, like, the one big thing he's really remembered for among the entire internet now.
Fucking Baby Geniuses.
But yeah, the studio made them reshoot it and add a bunch of gore, and
that's really interesting.
And I'm not gonna sit here and say that I wouldn't recommend you give it a shot. Like, if you find it at like a used DVD shop for a couple bucks, I would recommend giving it a shot, because it's bad, yes, but if you put it on while you're like writing a paper or something, or while you're doing something else, and you just kind of occasionally peek over at the screen, it's pretty entertaining in that way.
Okay.
But if you try to sit and actually get into it, it's bad. And the thing is, it completely starts out with Billy being in prison. So he's not just like some maniac who happened to return to... And the sorority house isn't just a random sorority house he gets into. It's actually his old family home. Okay. Which I think it was something that was kind of interesting that they added. But yeah, the sorority girls that are at this house, like in the original film, some of them weren't too likable, but they were never annoying characters or immensely unlikable characters. Mm-hmm. In this film, it's the kind of preppy college girl bullshit that makes me want them all to die horribly.
Right.
And thankfully they do.
Huh. Where do you put it on the meter?
On the gore meter? It's I'd probably have to say maybe a 6.5 out of 10. It's been a couple years since I watched it, honestly.
That's not bad.
I think I might rewatch it sometime this week, maybe, because I still got to rewatch the original, which I'm probably gonna do, like, on Christmas Eve, maybe.
Yeah, I need to as well, because it's been a few years since I've seen it.
I got that.
What?
Got that Bond villain chair.
Nice. Is it comfortable?
Yeah, it is. Considering I got it for free, that's the best part.
Nice. Was it a gift?
Yeah. They were just like getting rid of these chairs, and I was like, hey, hook me up with that.
It's been killing me, man. Like, the only chair I have at work, which, like, I should be glad that I have a chair, because
yeah, like, seriously,
I've never worked in a place that gave me somewhere to sit while I was working, like, ever, you know. So I should be thankful for that, but it's literally like a metal folding chair.
Oh, I mean, those aren't necessarily comfortable.
No, like, it hurts more to sit than it does to stand on that chair.
Ooh.
Like, so I don't use it. I just stand up. But, I mean, other than that, the job is good. It's just the chair sucks.
All right. I shall be back. I'm going to go get something to drink to use the bathroom.
All right.
It's your boy, uh, Skinny Penis.
Oh my god. Classic.
Oh,
I just realized that, like, as a complete coincidence, I think I have been wearing this sweater for like the past, I don't know how many streams.
the past couple, you've been wearing your dad's sweater.
Yeah, totally by coincidence. It's the official sweater of this stream.
I can live with that.
It is my favorite sweater.
Pretzels is the same.
I gotta tell you, you gotta do strawberries and ham.
I knew you were gonna say that. It was either that or you gotta eat the lettuce.
Strawberries and ham, though, is actually good together because, like, the saltiness of the ham, like, because what I did was I just bought like this massive ham steak, like way too much for one sitting, but I was like, I'm gonna eat this in one sitting because I hate myself, and it was like overwhelmingly salty, and the strawberries offset it perfectly. I'm just saying.
White people and your cultural appropriation.
Oh my god. That's beautiful. That's great. Give Hannibal back his culture.
Oh.
It reminds me of the fucking LeVar Burton fucking thing in that one interview. I don't even remember what interview that was. Or if it was an interview where that happened. I think it was, but I'm not sure.
You know, the best interview was when they had that Jack Nicholson impersonator on.
Oh
And
my god.
and he did it so perfectly.
My favorite interview is Jack Black.
I mean, the Jack Black interview is good, but I don't know. They should change their name to the Four Losers.
I love that one. Because Jack Black just wouldn't do it. But Jack Black one is good. My least favorite one is Tyler, the Creator.
Oh no, definitely. I saw that post in the group, and I completely agree.
Yeah. I don't know. It didn't work. And then I think most of the interviews are really good. You know. I think he's great. I don't think he has a lot of misses, you know.
I mean, absolutely.
Okay, what is a Christmas movie that you used to enjoy but has aged poorly?
I mean, I think that there is one in particular that has aged really bad.
What's that?
That movie is Jack Frost, not the Killer Snowman one, the one with Michael Keaton.
Ooh, yes, you're right.
I used to really like that one.
Same, but it has aged terribly. And I also did, I was going to say Elf, but Elf is much better than Jack Frost.
Actually, you know what? I think I changed my mind. I think I'm going to go with Elf, honestly.
I think Elf is such an annoying movie, but I still could get more enjoyment out of it than Jack Frost nowadays. I think.
Don't be such a cotton-headed ninny muggins.
God. I can't.
Like, they literally just wrote gibberish for him to say.
I can't do it. Like, I liked it so much when I was young. but I just can't do it now. It's so obnoxious.
It's like my relationship with Talladega Nights. I used to love that movie, but
Same.
now I can't fucking do it anymore. It's painful to me.
It is so painful. Like, it's bad, man.
Like, I hear people go, shake and bake. I'm just like, oh.
The cringe. Like, if you're past middle school and you're, like, dying over Talladega Nights, then there's a problem.
Then it looks like there's a problem with most of America.
Yep.
Because I can't think of a single person that I've ever met other than you that doesn't like that movie.
Are you serious?
I'm being serious. I'm pretty sure even Ryan likes that movie, and he's the most hipster piece of shit I know.
Damn. You might have to...
Damon. I know Damon probably doesn't like it. He doesn't like a lot of mainstream movies.
It's... Will Ferrell's whole shtick is that he just is an adult that acts like a child. And that is the source of the comedy.
Look, I completely agree with that. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't think Old School is hilarious. Or Step Brothers. I think Step Brothers is still pretty funny to this day. Even though that movie came out nearly 10 years ago. 10 years.
Wow, are you
Step
serious?
Brothers. Next year will be 10 years.
Has it been 10 years?
Yep.
That's insane to think about.
Okay. I got a good one.
Okay.
Worst comedy that everybody loves. Other than the ones we just named.
Okay. This is a good one. There's so many. Worst comedy that everyone else loves. Do you have one in mind?
I did, but then as I was trying to think of the words to to make that question, I lost it. I mean,
Okay, here's one that I did not get was Ted.
I mean,
I hated that movie.
I do kind of like that one, but honestly, it's because I saw it like when it came out, so I might be a little bit nostalgic for it. It was also when I was in summer school that when I saw it, so it was like one of the high points of me being in summer school. It was also back when I thought Seth MacFarlane was funny.
Yeah, there's the thing. Like, it's like fucking Peter Griffin is a teddy bear. Like, okay. And I remember in the movie, that is even explicitly referenced.
Yeah, he even says, I don't sound that much like Peter Griffin.
Like, okay.
Like, whoa, that's wacky and meta.
Wow.
Actually, no, I remember what I was going to say. Napoleon Dynamite.
Ooh, I agree. Thank you. I do not. And I'm all for offbeat.
I like quirky, absurdist humor, you know? Like, I'm all for dry humor, too.
Yeah, same.
You know, I love King of the Hill.
Me
and
too.
I love Stephen Wright.
But Napoleon Dynamite was just a movie where I think, I mean, if you're going to make a deadpan and dry comedy, the important part is that it still has to be funny. Like,
yeah,
you cannot be funny.
It's doing this thing that I've kind of realized is a bit of a subgenre of comedy, to where something is so terribly fucking unfunny that somehow it's funny. And it's a very similar thing that like Tim and Eric do almost. They do things that are so horrifically unfunny and cringy that people seem to think it's funny. I don't get it. Like, you could say it's deep and intricate all you want. It's just it's just fucking idiots trying to do humor a certain way when it's not funny.
Yeah, and that is the thing, you know, is that I think you are correct. It definitely now, I think, has become like a subgenre, because we're seeing it a lot more now. And I think probably Napoleon Dynamite was
a big starting point.
Yeah, is responsible, at least partially, for this whole thing. But, you know, it still has to be funny. And, you know, I even, you know, I think it can be done funny, you know, as proof that I'm not just biased against it. But, like, check it out with Steve Brule. That's like if Tim and Eric was funny. Like, that's what... That would be.
Or the Greasy, I know I haven't seen it, but the Greasy Strangler was literally like an hour and a half long Tim and Eric show, but it was actually funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like you mentioned, to a lesser extent, King of the Hill does it brilliantly, I think. But King of the Hill is like less trying not to be funny. Obviously.
Yeah, it's also trying not to do gross out humor.
King of the Hill, I think, is my favorite comedy show. I think it's legitimately brilliant. I think it's so much better than a lot of people give it credit for, even people who like it. I think it is really, really smart. Legitimately, like it's a great show.
Okay, I've got another good one.
Okay.
A movie that everybody thinks is like smart, but is actually like nowhere near even intelligent.
Fucking oh man, there's so
The Matrix.
many. Yeah, The Matrix. The Matrix is one. The Matrix is a good one. I want to say Annie Hall, and I think that's true, because I think Annie Hall is stupid and everybody thinks it's so witty. But I think it's dreadfully dumb. But there's so many others that I want to think of that I just can't right now. But
Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars, I think, is well.
Well, I think people take it. I think people
Yeah.
do it way too much and think it's this most brilliant thing when it's just entertainment.
Yeah, I don't think Star Wars is like actively stupid. I just don't think it's as smart as people think it is. Like, I am not interested in Star Wars at all, but I don't hate it. You know, I don't think it's dumb. It's entertainment. It's like, it's more action than sci-fi. We were talking about this, I think, earlier, right?
Yeah.
Difference between Trek and Star Wars is you know, people don't want to acknowledge that Star Wars is a fun action movie. When really, of course, that's what it is. But yeah, there's okay. What about a movie that never gets credit as being an actual like smart, insightful film?
I was actually about to give that question too. A film that never gets credit for being a very smart, insightful film, in my opinion, is really any early John Waters film.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, there are fans that do know that it's more complicated than it looks, or more, I guess, a bit smarter than it is, but like nobody in the mainstream would see a movie like Pink Flamingos and think that movie is actually kind of intricate or smart.
It's so self-aware. It is almost as thorough a critique of ideology as is possible in art and in a film at the time. I think it's brilliant. You know, and I think, you know, because of the time period and because, you know, it's important to realize that any time you see something that's trying to critique the ideology, it is also in that ideology, so you can't distance yourself 100%. And so there's parts of those movies where you see it's trying hard to critique, it's trying hard to distance itself, but it still has problems because it's in there. But that being said, it does a hell of a job. I think it does. It really does. I think a lot of his early movies do. I would agree with you.
There was another one I had. I cannot remember what it was for the life of me.
The one I would pick, and this one is kind of
controversial.
Not controversial. I'm just saying I don't know if it counts too much because I think it does get some credit, but not in the right way. And I would say They Live.
Oh no! I mean, I definitely say that film gets credit, but there's like that guy who was on YouTube who claimed it was about Jewish mass media, and John Carpenter straight up tweeted at the guy and called him a dumb fuck.
Yeah, and it's like, this is what I like about They Live, is that John Carpenter realizes what I was talking about. He realizes the nature of ideology and that it's total and that we're all completely and wholly immersed in it. And so he doesn't try to distance himself from that ideology as much as he tries to reveal it to us. And I think that's brilliant. And I don't think a lot of movies or a lot of art does that. And so I think it doesn't get credit for that reason. And I think that is actually really where it is incredibly brilliant. I think it is such a smart film.
I want to give a couple honorable mentions.
Okay.
I want to give one to Phantom of the Paradise, because I never realized how brilliant that film was until I actually read up on some of the stuff about it. And I realized that it is actually a brilliant examination, like brilliant kind of, I don't want to say satire, but kind of analysis of record companies and how when you make a deal with a record company, you're making a deal with the devil.
Right.
Which is kind of obvious, but I didn't really get that.
Right.
I also want to say that... Fuck. Christ. I lost another one. Any Troma film, well, any Lloyd Kaufman film, I don't think they get enough credit for being as kind of brilliant as they are.
And you know what? No one wants the movies to be political, but they're political movies.
They very much are.
They are political movies, and it's always so funny to me when I remember when the Donald got us out of the Paris Climate Agreement, and on the Troma page, it was, Lloyd posted that, Toxie would be, or is disappointed. Everyone was like, why don't you stay out of politics and stick to making movies? And it's like, how do you not realize that The Toxic Avenger is not a political movie,
Yeah.
How do you think that?
Like, even fucking Poultrygeist, the movie about zombie chickens.
Absolutely.
It's a political film.
Mm-hmm. It is. And, he's irreverent and his movies are ridiculous, but it's a medium through which he can be political. And I don't even think the political nature of the films are subtle. I think they're very obviously political films, but so many people, they just don't want to see them for that, which is a shame, because that to me that's part of where the fun is that there is a serious side to them.
Yeah, and I think it's also hilarious because I see like reviews for movies from Troma like all the time. They're like, this movie is stupid as hell. Why does it have so many high ratings? And it's just like, you might be reviewing yourself in a mirror, man, because obviously you're not very smart.
And while we're talking about honorable mentions in political films, Salo, which...
Oh, no.
Holy... Yeah.
I watched that after I bought the Blu-ray, and way more depressing than I remember. Like, way, way worse than I remember.
Mm-hmm.
But the sexual content isn't as explicit as I remember. Because while there is, like, all kinds of perversion going on in the film, and while there is nudity and rape and torture, there's no explicit actual, like, sex.
Right.
Like, you don't really see any penetration or anything like that, which I thought was weird, because, like, I'd argue that, like, I would argue that would make it less pornographic or less explicit, I would say, than, like, people make it out to be. I mean, it's still a fairly explicit movie, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just think, because the source material, there's not a lot of substance, and Slow is a movie with a lot of legitimate substance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, Desaad wasn't thinking about calling out the fucking rich during World War II,
right,
when he wrote that in the 1800s. Naturally,
for obvious reasons. So So I just like the idea of taking that source material and transforming it. I think that's very interesting. I don't think the movie. I think the movie is notorious as a shock film. It's notorious as a gross out film, and I think that is a shame because it is much more than that.
Film.
It is a brilliant film. It is. Such a shame. And,
no, because what were you saying?
No, go on.
No, what were you saying? You were speaking first.
Okay, I was gonna say, in a similar way to Flower of Flesh and Blood, though I think Solo is the better movie, obviously.
Yeah. I think fuck. I lost it again. God damn it. My brain isn't with me right now. I think Salo is brilliant, and when I first watched it, I remember I didn't know of it as this brilliant film. Like, I knew it had a reputation, and I knew it was a fairly political film, but I didn't really know anything about it other than that. I just heard it was shocking. So when I first saw it, when I was like a sophomore in high school, it didn't really shock me that badly, nor did it depress me or anything. And I was just really disappointed because I didn't know that the film was supposed to be political. I didn't know that there was more to it than the shock. So I didn't really get it. And then upon rewatching it this year, I finally understand that Salo is actually a brilliant fucking movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's important because we don't have a lot that talks about Italy during World War II.
Yeah, like there are so many films that talk about like the actions of Japan and the actions of Germany, but nothing about Italy.
And it's important because a lot happened. You know, people did suffer, so it's important that part of the history is not erased. And I mean, even it still kind of is. Like, all we really have is Salo, that is even kind of in the mainstream consciousness, and even then, it's not really.
Yeah, and even then, I mean, Pasolini was murdered after he made the movie.
Yeah,
and it's been speculated that it was one of the rich people who he was critiquing, and some of the officials and people in power, some of the people in the government that he was critiquing with the film that did it, or they hired somebody.
And that I think is part of the reason why it's so important that we try to push the importance of the film and the real nature of the film, is because, you know, he was like a martyr for making this movie. You know, I'm sure he realized that he was really going to make some people mad releasing it.
I definitely think he knew that he was going to get into some shit for it. I don't think he expected to be murdered because of it, though.
Yeah, I don't think he expected to be murdered, but he certainly, I'm sure he knew there were risks involved. You know, maybe not murder, because who expects to be murdered for a movie? But it's a shame that he died for making that movie, and if people know it at all, they know it as like just a stupid shock movie.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
That to me is a huge shame.
I think same goes for something like, even though I don't really feel it as much anymore, I think same would go for something like a Serbian film. I mean, I've definitely taken a few steps back ever since I've first seen it, and I definitely do think it's still kind of an interesting, like, allegory about the government, but I do still kind of think it is still kind of like exploitation garbage at the same time.
Yeah, and I think that's where it falls short, because, you know, I think I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that for the duration of the movie, they are trying to be serious, if that's the case, then I don't think they were totally successful, though the
Oh,
effort was
definitely.
admirable. That's pretty much where I stand with it.
I
Is that
mean,
it's ambitious but not totally successful.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I love that film though. I do actually really like that movie, but at the same time, I could completely agree with that. Like, it's really very similar to Salo. It's become basically just a shock film. Not that I will. I mean, I'll still say I do think it's brilliant in some ways, but in others, it just falls apart.
Yeah, and I
It,
think, unlike Salo, a Serbian film does things that makes it at least partially deserving of that title. They definitely caught
oh
themselves in
yeah,
some pitfalls there.
yeah.
Uh,
Jesus
I mean,
fucking
you know
Christ.
it. You can't deny it. Um, you know, I if I would never watch it again alone, but if you and I sat down, or with a group and wanted, I mean, I'd see it again. It's it's a very interesting film, um, but it traps itself, and you know what I'm talking about when I say
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking. You don't even gotta fucking put it into words.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'd
Uh,
rather not put it into words, to be honest, but you know
I
what I mean.
also think Cannibal Holocaust is more brilliant than people give it credit for. I mean, people do respect that film, but there's still a huge group of people who just see it as a mindless, violent exploitation film. But I think Cannibal Holocaust is actually kind of brilliant.
I do too, and I think the brilliance of so there's a lot of the cannibal films, that don't mean shit because they caught on. But I think what's very interesting is to watch the cannibal films that have good intentions, like Cannibal Holocaust, um, right? And so, because in those films, and Cannibal Holocaust is, I think we can all agree, the best cannibal film. Um,
Oh no, most definitely. There's
in
no doubt.
every way, it's not even close. Um, with good intentions, and that's the important part about Cannibal Holocaust, is that it has good intentions, is that you still see that from the perspective of the European colonist, it still ends up being an unintentionally racist film because of that perspective. Uh, and it's very interesting to watch because of that. It's a great film. Um, it's a great. I mean, I'm not going to say it's a great watch. It's a hard watch. I think it's good that it's a hard watch, especially with it, because the movie does a lot of good things intentionally, and then you learn a lot from it unintentionally, right? Because the director, God bless him, good intentions, uh, and that's a lot of your good intention cannibal films are like that, right? So it's so interesting to see what you learn from what the director is trying to say, and then also what he wasn't trying to say. You learn a lot about perspective and authorship of a movie from like Cannibal Holocaust that I think is just so interesting. Um, no other cannibal film does it as well because so many other cannibal films are like blatantly stupid and racist. Uh, Cannibal
Yeah,
Holocaust is not.
yeah. I watched Cannibal Terror, which is considered to be like the worst cannibal film, and the cannibals have sideburns and comb overs,
Nice.
and it's
Best.
a and it's shared footage with White Cannibal Queen.
Did you ever see White Cannibal Queen? I can't
I
remember.
I did, and it was
Okay.
really bad.
Yeah.
I did not like White Cannibal Queen.
There's not a lot to like about it, but
The gore was good. Like I'll give them that every day of the week.
I'll tell you, I got it for $4, and I think it was worth $4. That's about where I. That's where I. That's what I'll say about it.
Shit, there was another movie that I wanted to bring up, and then he got me caught in idle conversation. I Spit on Your Grave, I think, is actually fairly brilliant, and in the specifically in the chase scenes and the assault scenes, how they're shot, I think really does a good job of portraying portraying how these men, these misogynists, see Jennifer Hills versus how she is experiencing this assault and the pain she is experiencing and how she feels towards these men. I think it's very brilliant in the way it's shot.
Yeah, I wish very much that somebody would write, and they might have, like an academic book on those films, particularly focusing on the original I Spit on Your Grave. You know?
Oh yeah, the original I Spit on Your Grave. The director has been working on a sequel to it for years, like an actual sequel.
I remember you saying that, and I am curious. I will say.
I mean, it's still got the original actress.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name, but it's still got her in it. What else is an unintentionally brilliant film? Or, well, not unintentionally brilliant, but
there's a lot.
There really is. I know. I think that Martyrs is kind of brilliant. Is pretty brilliant, honestly.
Yeah,
I know that one gets a lot of credit, though.
Yeah, everyone who knows it gives it credit for that, I think.
I mean, definitely, but I've heard a lot of reviews, both positive and negative, that just review it as a kind of at face value, and they don't really read any deeper. Well, I've heard a lot of people do that, but Maniac, I think, is brilliant.
That. Yeah, I think Maniac is unintentionally brilliant, though. I think what I get out of Maniac, the brilliance of it, was not intended by the director. But that's me, which is still a good thing, you know. That still makes it very much worth watching, among the other good things about it. Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed.
Fuck off. Stop it. I think not enough people give Ralph Bakshi's films like Fritz the Cat and Coonskin and Heavy Traffic enough credit. Especially Coonskin. Because Coonskin was yeah.
Yeah, you told me about that one. That one I really want to watch because it sounds interesting. But the only films of his I've seen are the Lord of the Rings movies, and they're bad. They're bad. Like, they're ambitious but bad. But they're not bad. I don't know. His influence on the films is good. I'll say that. But lots of the other parts are bad. But I want to see his good movies.
Honestly, when it comes to Ralph Bakshi, I think it's his more explicit and controversial films that are his best. Like, for instance, there's a film he made in the 70s called Wizards that is like, it's a fairly innocent, kind of almost family-friendly film, other than the fact that there's some Nazi imagery in there for the evil wizard. Because it's like set in a world of magic and sorcery that's actually Earth after it's been bombed to hell.
Damn.
And it's fairly, like, I don't want to say fairly lighthearted, but it's not like super violent or explicit or anything like that. And it's a decently memorable film, but it doesn't really, I mean, all art says something, but it doesn't explicitly like have a point to it. While Fritz the Cat is about is a satire of college life in the 60s, and Coonskin is about racism and race issues in general. And Heavy Traffic is about growing up like Jewish in a somewhat anti-Semitic neighborhood.
I was just about to ask you if he was a Jewish dude, because I kind of remembered you saying it at one point, but I wasn't 100% sure.
Yeah, he was Jewish, which Heavy Traffic was like his
Okay.
autobiographical film almost, because
Were
it was
there
about a cartoon. It was about a Jewish cartoonist.
Was the Jewish cartoonist an anthropomorphic animal?
No, the only films he did with anthropomorphic animals were, I would count Coonskin because the main characters are a rabbit and a bear, but they still are like supposed to be. It's supposed to be a parody of Song of the South, basically.
Right. Which, there's plenty there to work with.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I'm not saying the NAACP said that Coonskin was a brilliant film, but they did.
Did they?
Yes,
Well, I mean,
and so did the Wu-Tang Clan.
oh my god. Wu-Tang and the NAACP. That's good company.
I mean, Coonskin's brilliant. It's a shame it hasn't been released on Blu-ray here. It probably never will be because of its history of people claiming it's a racist film.
It's a shame when people misinterpret something when there's a lot of like genuinely racist films.
Oh yeah, Song of the South, Birth of a Nation.
I mean, even like movies being made today, there's still racist movies being made. It's just a shame, you know. And of course, the NAACP is not like the be all end all on like what's okay, but they are sensitive to these issues, and if it was a genuinely racist film, I feel like they would catch it rather than saying it was brilliant.
I mean, Roger Ebert thought Coonskin was brilliant.
Roger Ebert knows what's up most of the time. I don't always agree with Robert, but I like Robert. God rest his soul. I like Robert.
He did give Goodbye Uncle Tom a bad review, which understandably so. That film is like it wasn't trying to be racist, but goddamn did Goodbye Uncle Tom come out racist as fuck. And I love Goodbye Uncle Tom. I love that movie. It's very, very heartbreaking and disturbing, and the soundtrack done by Riz Orlanti, who did the soundtrack for Cannibal Holocaust, is like,
yeah, he's great. I need to sit down and watch it because I own it now.
It's rough. It really is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not number one on my disturbing movies list for nothing.
I think my favorite Roger Ebert review is his review of Dirty Harry.
What did he have to say about Dirty Harry?
I don't like Dirty Harry. Roger Ebert didn't like Dirty Harry. And I don't like Dirty Harry for a lot of the same reasons.
I didn't see Dirty Harry.
Essentially, Roger Ebert was like, and this was when it came out. So Roger Ebert caught this shit early. He was like, look guys, like, we need to not be in a society where we're trying to get police to like do whatever they want without consequence, because that essentially is Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry is like, oh no, the poor police force can't get evidence by torturing suspects. Oh no, the police can't just break into somebody's home and like steal evidence. Like, oh no, the police like oh no, the police can't do anything because they can't torture suspects. Like, it's bad. Like, Roger Ebert in the 1980s, before it became like a buzzword or anything, was like, this movie is like kind of like fascistic in its tone, like where it views police as martyrs and it wants them to have impunity. That is Dirty Harry. Like, and it is unashamed in its view of that. Like, it's not subtle. It very much is a very conservative film that wants police to like be able to torture people, to be able to break into people's homes. it's an insanely disturbing movie to watch now. And that's the thing with Dirty Harry. So I was not a fan.
You know what movie I think is brilliant?
What's that?
Straw Dogs.
God, go fuck yourself. I'll tell you though, see the Wild Bunch. It's more than worth it.
That one's on my list. That one's
See
been
the
on
Wild
my
Bunch.
list.
Ernest Borgnine is in it.
I know he is.
He's great. Everyone in the movie is great. Like everyone turns out a great performance. The script is wonderful. Sam Peckinpah at his best. Easily.
You know, okay. I got another good one. A movie you think is absolutely hilarious that nobody else thinks is funny.
Oh, that is a good one. This is bad because I think even you probably hate this one. Nacho Libre.
Let me be honest. I watched like half of it when it came out, and I didn't get it.
I really thought Nacho Libre was funny. I did. I really enjoy it. A lot of people hate it. You
know what movie for me, and I'm going for a real terrible one here. I'm reaching.
All right.
Freddy Got Fingered.
Wow, you didn't have to go that far.
I love that movie. I think that movie is hilarious. And
wow.
I can understand why people hate it, but I really don't get what people expected from it. Like, if you go into that movie and you're familiar with Tom Green's style of comedy, and you get mad because it's his style of comedy, you'd have no right to fucking complain. You should have known. You should have known that it was going to be weird, gross out humor.
I mean, I didn't have any expectations for it. It's just a bad movie.
Fuck off. It's hilarious. Fucking brilliant.
You took it to like the most extreme level with that shit. Like,
I got another one.
Okay.
The Worm Eaters.
Okay.
I never hear any love for that one, and I think that one's hilarious.
I haven't seen it.
I know you haven't.
I'll tell you about.
My question is, did you watch The Gruesome Twosome yet?
I haven't had the time.
It's so funny.
I really want to see it. I wanted to see that one for a while, so that was, and same with The Burning. Thank you for that.
Oh yeah, you know me. Did you send my present out?
No, I can't get like anybody's Christmas presents until my next paycheck on the 21st.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that, didn't you?
Yeah, because
did Ryan tell you he's gonna get you something?
Yeah, and I wanna send Ryan some. I'm not gonna say it over stream, because
trust me, he doesn't watch my streams. He's asleep. He works mornings.
Yeah, he probably won't see this. I wanna, because he asked me that one time to steal some jerky and send it to him, but I mean, I was just gonna buy him some jerky and send it to him. And I don't have to steal it. I can pay for it when I get my paycheck. But yeah, I was planning on sending some to him, but he hadn't sent me his address yet.
Yeah, he asked me for your address, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get on Amazon.
Huh. Yeah, but I figured he would like that, since he explicitly asked for it that one time.
That one time.
But
let me.
Yeah. You know a movie that I enjoyed that it seems is universally disliked?
What
Like
movie?
Frogs.
Frogs is really good. I really like Frogs. I'm a little disappointed it wasn't just about killer frogs, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought it would be at first, but
But
when I watched it again without that expectation, it was much better.
Sam Elliott is fucking great.
Yeah, he's great in it. I like the environmental message of the film. I do.
It's a movie I really love that nobody else likes.
What?
I don't know. I can't fucking think of anything.
You were gonna fucking meme.
I wasn't gonna meme it. Although I will say, a movie I really like that I never hear anybody talk about is Without Warning.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's an alien slasher film where an alien is the killer, and an alien goes on a hunting trip on Earth, and it predates Predator.
Whoa. Okay. I'm interested.
And the cinematography is done by Dean Cundy, who did the cinematography for Halloween.
Oh, wow.
He did the cinematography for a lot of Carpenter films, actually.
Do you have that 4-film DVD set that has Cry Wolf on it, and I think Slither?
No. I do own those both separately, though.
Okay. Have you ever seen Altered?
Oh, is that the one with the alien?
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually own that one separately, too. I really like Altered. I thought that one was pretty cool. Like, I thought it was a pretty cool little alien movie.
Yeah, people really dislike it, but I thought it was, like, for an alien movie, which can be really, they're a dime a dozen, and they're usually so boring nowadays. I thought it was good. The guy who did the Blair Witch Project did that movie.
Yeah, he did. Honestly,
I enjoy it. I don't think it's a better movie, but I enjoy it more than the Blair Witch Project, which I don't get a lot of enjoyment from watching.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Blair Witch Project isn't necessarily an enjoyable movie. It's an interesting film.
Yeah,
very much how I would say I get more enjoyment out of watching like A Clockwork Orange than I do out of 2001, even though 2001 is the better film.
Yeah, I think it is too. Sometimes that's not what matters when you're wanting to sit down and watch something.
Actually, what was that movie? I know I have it on my shelf around here. There's a movie that I actually think is really overlooked. Let me. Where is it? Fuck. Ah, God damn it! I don't think I can find it. I know if I see it, I'll instantly remember. Oh yeah, Midnight Movie. I think that's a pretty overlooked direct-to-video slasher.
I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, it's literally like this guy. They make this movie in the 70s, and it's essentially like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, except all the murders were actually committed by the star of the film, who, when they showed him the film when he was in an institution, he somehow went into the film and disappeared. And then they show that exact print of the film at a theater at a midnight screening. and he comes out of the film and starts killing people in the theater.
Huh. Yet another one that I should watch. The list is too huge.
It really is. Flesh Eater. Bill Hinsman's Flesh Eater is fucking classic. Because I love Flesh Eater, and I get a feeling that Severin is going to release Flesh Eater on Blu-ray. I hope they do.
Do you get that feeling?
Yeah, because when the same company that released Flesh Eater on DVD is Shriek Show. Shriek Show also had the rights to Zombie Holocaust and Burial Ground.
Okay.
And they released Flesh Eater, Zombie Holocaust, and Burial Ground on a zombie box set. And Severin has gone on to purchase the rights to and release on Blu-ray Zombie Holocaust and Burial Ground.
Okay.
I get a feeling that they've bought like the rights of all the old Shriek Show releases because this company's like out of business now. And if they did, I really hope they got fucking Flesh Eater because Flesh Eater is fucking gold.
Yeah, I want to see it. But anyway, I have to bounce because it's getting late. And
All right.
I open tomorrow at the store.
See, I don't have to be at work until 5 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, so...
Damn, do you usually... Well, you do morning shifts sometimes.
Yeah, I usually do morning shift. They have me working evenings these couple weeks.
Hmm.
Just to help pick up some slack. You know how that goes.
Oh, I do. That's actually why I'm opening tomorrow. I normally don't do opening shifts, but they need me to open, and stuff's crazy near the holidays, so I gotta be there an hour early to open up. But you know how that is. I bet it sucks, like opening up at Subway.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You gotta like get the fucking... You gotta bake all the bread, as well as do prep and take care of customers before like 10 o'clock.
And then I bet your first wave is bad at Subway.
Yeah, the first wave of customers is always like just a bunch of people who want to be a pain in the ass, ask for complicated shit early in the morning.
Ugh. Yeah. But anyway, it's been good, man. This was a great stream.
Yeah, it was. I'm just gonna fucking stop it.
It's always good